This is your home for the Trojans. Girard Sports Live.
Snap and leans forward, and that's touchdown number 4 for Scott Moore.
Girard Sports Live is presented by Crawcan, your community technology partner. Learn more at ckt.net.
Brooks, throw over to Adolph, quickly down inside, wrap around Boatman, found herself in the right place, foul, and the bucket!
He'll try a 3 and hits. Adolph with it up top, being guarded by Gass. Girard down the lane, off the glass, and good. Nice instinct by Adolph to just take it to the bucket.
Fielded on the short hop, fires this one across. Able to throw the runner out by a step and a half.
Pitch to the outside to Ashbacher. Gets a good block on the outside, and he's in for the touchdown.
It's time for the Trojans. On your home for Girard High School Athletics. Girard Sports Live. Girard Sports Live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Girard. Girard Sports Live is presented by Crawcan, your community technology partner. Don't get bit by slow speeds and high prices. Get gigabit, the fastest internet in southeast Kansas with Crawcan. To learn more, go to ruralfiber.org or see everything Crawcan has to offer at ckt.net. I'm Drake Miller here taking you along for the action, joined by Caleb Humble. Caleb, tell us a little bit about what we can expect for tonight's contest.
Yeah, so with the Lady Trojans, of course you're expecting a win, at least I am, but tonight the game plan should be simple. Just rebounding and scoring are the two biggest things that the ladies need to make sure that's happening, making sure that they get good looks and making sure that they get the boards to put those looks back up. And so I think this is a younger Baxter team, if I'm correct, and so it shouldn't be, hopefully not too much of a challenge tonight, but the Lady Trojans are also a younger team, and so really seeing the experience from Maddie Kester and Erica Boatman really needs to shine through tonight and see how the seniors can lead this team to victory.
Like you said, expecting to win, they should. 4-1 Girard facing off against the 1-5 Lions. This pregame show is brought to you by Community National Bank and Trust, serving the area for over 30 years. Stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan instant issue mascot debit card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard schools. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Learn more online at mybankcnb.com. So Community National, sponsor of today's pregame. We're a little bit being paced for tonight's contest, or the pregame at least, seeing we had some difficulties prior, but got those all sorted away and ready to kick off this season as I'm joining you kind of for this back half.
Yeah.
Caleb, tell us a little bit about what happened in that front half before Christmas break and how this Trojan team got to the record they're at.
Yeah, so the ladies had a really good start to the year with their only loss coming from Nevada, and I think they only lost by a couple points in that match. And so really that being a school not even from Kansas, they had a great start to the year, and they've had a really great start that just they're able to keep it rolling. This Lady Trojans team hopefully will have another similar year to last year, a little bit better end result. But they really just started off and they hit the ball rolling with multiple great wins over some of those. They didn't have an easy schedule, just to put it lightly, and so some great wins over some of those more difficult opponents, and just being able to come out and get those wins, and hopefully it'll continue after this break. And so personally I think it will, and hopefully they'll have another great year.
Yeah, I mean, looking across the league just in this area, a lot of competitive teams this season, so I think Girard, I obviously watched the girls last season because I was calling for Colgan, and I got to see that star-studded team last year and expected nothing short this season as well, as we are seeing right now. You know, very, very competitive team on both sides of the court, both on the boys and the girls side. So I'm excited to see them get into action starting in this winter season. But let's go ahead and jump into the keys to the game, which are brought to you by Trojan Booster Club. game day sponsor, which don't have pulled up here, so we'll get into that in a second. Caleb, you want to go ahead and talk us through some of the keys to the game, to what the Trojans are going to need today to take down the victory?
Yeah, so kind of like what I was talking about earlier, just the rebounding and the scoring, which so far this year the ladies have been really great on the offensive side of getting offensive rebounds, getting good looks, and putting the ball up whenever they have a missed shot here and there. And so making sure that they can really score on offense, and then their defense is the other big part of this Lady Trojans team, and especially the steals that they get. And so something that this Lady Trojans team has kind of identified themselves with is the steals that they get every single night. And so I know me and Daryl before the break, we would have a steals counter, and we would just count up and see how many steals this team would get. And so something that's going to be big tonight is making sure that they keep it up and keep the opponents off their side of the court, making sure that they're the ones scoring and keeping the other team score pretty low. And so that's the biggest things for me tonight is steals and making sure that you get good looks on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, the Girard High School Booster Club game sponsor tonight is the Producers Co-op Association. For more than 75 years, PCA has proudly served Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri as a full-service, member-owned agricultural cooperative. Right here in Girard, PCA is proud to support local families, schools, and community events, investing in the neighbors they serve every day. Visit PCA at any one of our locations, including Girard, Fort Scott, Liberal, and Moundville, as the sponsor to the keys to the game. But I like what you said there, Caleb, because I think one of the biggest things that I noticed when I'm analyzing high school basketball is the turnover difference. That's going to write pretty much the script for any game, and those steals, that's one of the primary sources of turnovers. And then I think one other thing that I like to add in there is rebounds, just because of the obvious, but also extending possessions on offense and then getting the ball back in your possession on defense. So important to just structuring the game in the way that you want it and playing at your own pace. The longer that you've got the possession, the more chances you're going to have to score, but also the more chances you're going to have to manage that clock at the pace that you want it. So if you're down, you can kind of press the narrative, and if you're up, you can really just kind of hold on and suffocate that clock a little bit. We're going to go ahead and send it to our first break here, and we will be right back before tip-off. So stay tuned here on Girard Sports Live. We'll be right back.
Here at Pittsburgh Interiors, we are proud to be family-owned and operated, serving our community with quality style and service since 1999. Step into our showroom and explore furniture, flooring, window treatments, mattresses, and more. Whether you're designing a dream home, office, or simply just adding that finishing touch, our expert team is here to help. Discover why families and businesses have trusted us for over 25 years. Pittsburgh Interiors, where style meets comfort and family comes first.
At Girard Medical Center, our physical and occupational therapy department is dedicated to helping you bounce back stronger. Whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, or just want to move better every day. From student athletes to seniors, we provide personalized care and expert support right here at home. To learn more about our therapy department and our other services, visit GirardMedicalCenter.com, a proud supporter of the Girard Trojans and your hometown team for health and healing. Rooted in rural, focused on you.
You've enjoyed life. Over the years, your community has become your passion, something you hope future generations get to experience, just as you have. That's why the Girard Area Community Foundation has worked hard to help fulfill charitable goals and inspire generosity, meeting the needs of the communities they serve. Creating a legacy fund with GACF ensures what you leave behind is an effective and lasting improvement in the community you love so dearly. Make plans to visit GirardAreaFoundation.com, preserving traditions for those who follow.
There's a lot of choices when you think about buying crop insurance. One thing that's important to us is the roots and loyalty of where you come from and knowing who you can trust. And with all the obstacles that farmers are dealing with on a constant basis, we're there and we're living those struggles and we understand them. And we got to put bushels in the bin to provide for each family. And when that doesn't happen, it's good to know you have a good crop insurance agent to cover you when the hard times happen.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, The professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Trojan fans can find us at 408B North Grand in Pittsburgh or call 620-232-7305. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
Prairie Mission Retirement Village. People caring about people in the loving spirit of Christ. Spacious apartments made to feel like home. And a loving, caring, experienced staff. That's the Prairie Mission difference. A continuing retirement community promoting person-centered care with an on-site clinic from the Vet Health and offering independent living apartments, assisted living, and long-term care, all with the respect and care our loved ones deserve. Prairie Mission Retirement Village, St. Paul, 620-449-2400.
Producers Cooperative Association is the area leader in providing quality agricultural products, services, and markets. PCA has what you need to maximize your operation with a full-service agronomy department, grain origination, handling and storage, bulk fuels and lubricants, propane, a jam-packed farm store, and livestock feeds in bulk or bagged. PCA is proud to call Girard home and to support Trojan athletics. Stop by or see more online at pcacoop.com.
Welcome back to Girard Sports Live. Running through some of the starting lineups here. Caleb, you want to call them out on the broadcast for me?
Yep.
Start off with the away team, Lady Lions.
So for the away team, their first is Kirsten Burgraff, number 3, a senior. You got Bella Casada, number 5. She is a junior. Layla Weaver, number 12. Looks like another junior. Malia Avery, number 20. She looks like she's a sophomore. And Bailey Campbell, number 24, is a senior.
And then on the other side for your Girard Trojans, number 10, the 5'9 junior, Marley Sisney. Number 12, the 5'9 junior, Kennedy Keller. Number 14, the 5'10 senior, Maddie Kester. Number 22, the 5'6 junior, Carson Orand. And number 23, 5'10 senior, Erica Boatman, rounding out that 5-player starting squad for the Trojans. Just moments away from tip-off, we went through the keys to the game, but now it is time to execute for both of these teams. This is kind of like another kickoff to the season, the way I see it. You almost get a little bit of a reset during that period for Christmas break, and then you come back and it's like you're a whole different team in some cases. So for those good teams that played really well through that first, I guess not really a half, but first third of the season, you really have to keep that vibe, that mojo up. For the bad teams, though, or the teams that kind of struggle to succeed in that first third, it's important that they turn things around, I guess.
Yep, and with this Lady Trojans team, I think the break was very important to them, that there were a couple ladies that were injured on this team. I know Carson Orand and Kennedy Keller had a couple bumps and bruises here and there, and so just the time off to really get back to their full potential was big for this team.
Missed shot off the rim, and then it's going to go the other direction with a whistle blown. First foul called against Boatman. First team foul as well for the Trojans. Nice little poke there from Orand. It's going to keep the ball with the Lions, but nice to apply some pressure here early on, especially with that full court press.
And it looks like this might be something that the ladies do all night, just their type of basketball of getting steals and getting quick buckets. And so this looks like something that might happen the entire night, and the ladies will try to keep the Lions on their side of the court.
Oran fights through some physicality for that last two. Like the aggression here in the first quarter. We are missing the clock for the scoreboard cam tonight, so I'll try to keep you updated as it ticks. Sitting at 7 minutes here in the first. Boatman drives and gets called for the travel. One too many steps. Will be a turnover to the Lions.
Looks like the ladies are going to do this full court, just kind of looks like they're taking the ball when they want to so far, and so it's...
Yeah, and Keller capitalizes once more, leaves it 4-0. Not a huge gap, but Baxter Springs needs to regroup. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back on for Girard Sports Live, 4-0 to start off for the Trojans as the Lions needed a small break here, looking a little bit regrouped on the offensive, and they come out striking with a three, Bailey Campbell. Opening up the scoring for Baxter Springs. Boatman kicks out. Here's a three from the Trojans. There's a nice attempt from Sisney, but it falls just out of the rim. More pressure applied at midcourt, and it's a takeaway. Ball handed off to Keller, and she drops in the two.
All right, that's already the second steal of the night, and we're about 2 minutes in, and there's another one.
There's another. Just back to back. Maddie Kester gets the and one. And the Lions are going to need another timeout here. Go ahead and keep it here for the time being, as we just took a break.
So far, looking at this rate, it kind of seems like the ladies are going to have a steal per minute of the game. So that's.
It has been very fast-paced for the Girard side of the ball, and it looks like that's how they want to play, you know, and talk about the differences in possession and everything else that we discussed in the pregame as well. All of this is favoring the Trojans currently, and they're looking super strong. You had that really assertive possession right out the gate from the break from Baxter Springs, and then the retaliation immediate.
It's been 5 quick points since then. That's just...
Kester gets the three-point conversion. So now Baxter Springs looks to get it across midcourt, and they do. Over on the far side with Cassida, and another turnover.
It's like a travel was called there, yeah.
This time not a forced turnover.
No.
Those are the ones I feel like if you're Baxter Springs, you can't afford. You know that this Girard team is going to play aggressive. You just got to take what you can get, and as soon as you get across midcourt, taking a travel, just insult to injury after all those turnovers prior.
Which these Lady Trojans, they'll create turnovers on their own, and so if you're the away team, you don't want to help them with any of that.
Nice bucket there. Try and keep pace Lions keeping their hands in the cookie jar here. 9-5 score with 5:09 on the clock. Kick it back to the top. Kester on the short side, and now back over to Orand. Here's another three. Shot and missed from Sisney. Kester takes a long two. This one's off the mark. Boatman with the rebound, and on the third opportunity, she's fouled. That'll be the second team foul. And the second personal as well.
That's the thing that we had talked about before in the pregame show, that just getting rebounds and getting those second chance opportunities. I mean, those were the big things for this Lady Trojan team, and so hopefully that'll be a thing all game.
Yeah, and they looking strong underneath the basket. You haven't seen a lot of quick possessions out of the Trojans, but you've seen some fairly quick ones out of the Lions. A lot of things need to change for this Baxter Springs squad as they just get another one tacked on. That's Keller.
Yep. And a couple new faces coming into the game would be Augie Mooneyham and Briley Black. But it looks like the people sitting were Maddie Kester and Marley Sisney. So a couple of good substitutions, and I think I saw Maddie kind of hobbling around a little bit, so hopefully she'll be all right. But I think Coach also saw that, just trying to make sure that his senior players all right and not injured.
Well, and the score doesn't really show it, but Girard has certainly been dominant thus far in this contest. So if that continues, you feel like you can kind of let up a little bit, but if things start to get out of hand, some pressure might be on to get those starters back in the game, even if they're feeling a little bit of a tweak there. Of course, that's pending whatever that injury is, but here's Boatman on the drive inside the key, takes the shot hard off the backboard, and it's all the way out to Orand. Tosses it in, back out for a three, and it's tipped out of bounds. They'll say last to touch it was Boatman. A lot of action there on that possession, and a couple of chances out of Girard as well, but they come up empty-handed. If you're Baxter Springs, this is certainly a possession that you would like to take advantage of. And they're going to take another timeout here. So we'll take one with them. 4:08 remaining. 5:11 is the score, and we'll be right back after this.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back on Girard Sports Live, 11-5, 4:08 remaining in the first quarter. Boatman gets the takeaway, fighting for the ball on the ground. Here's a three shot from Black, won't go. And the rebound is tapped around and out of bounds on Girard, headed back to the Lions.
And there's just another steal. I mean, I think that's 5 already. Might be wrong on that. I don't have the official number, but I mean, 5 steals, and it's just, it seems like turnover after turnover for this Lady Lions team. And so it's just, if you're a Girard fan, you're loving it. But I think for this team to be competitive, something will have to change there.
For this Lions team, though, you look at the full offensive possessions that they have had, and it's been successful. When they get the ball down the court and they start to establish an offense, they're 2 for 2 right now on a three-pointer and a two-pointer. But right now, that's the struggle, is getting the ball down there and giving yourself a chance. You just see 2 missed shots from Boatman. Here's a long two and a foul. This one will be free throws for Keller. Too many opportunities for this Girard team if you're Baxter Springs, but like you said, if you're Girard, you're loving this.
Loving it. I mean, we had talked about this in that pregame show, that one of the things that Girard made make sure that they're doing is getting those second chance opportunities, and they're definitely doing that in this first quarter.
And really just looking at the side-by-side with the base players, there's not much of a height difference between anybody. It doesn't seem like anybody has a distinct advantage in height down there at the block. I think Girard just kind of has that extra jump on him to get under there and get to the ball first on the box move.
And that's something that, I mean, the player down there is Erica Boatman, and Erica's been great at it for years. Of just, she can out-physical almost anyone else, and she's able to just get underneath the basket and get rebounds, and that's kind of how she's identified herself, with just being more physical than her opponent, and it seems to always work out. So that's something that you're always liking to see with your strong player down in the paint.
Sisney and Kester check in for Boatman and Keller. So a couple starters for starters. Kester finds herself and gets the 2. Opening up the scoring just a little bit more. It had slowed down since she had left the court a little bit. Now starting that pace back up as well. Oran catches herself for a foul, her first. Third team foul, both teams sitting at 3 fouls. This one's tipped and recovered.
So far, I definitely think that this aggressive style of defense is working really well for this Lady Trojans team, of just kind of harassing whoever has the ball and forcing those turnovers.
Poked out will stay with the Lions as Micah Adams was on the chase to try and recover it. Baxter Springs on the inbound. Here's Adams. Scanning, finally gets it in. Got it into Weaver, and now it's another loose ball. Taken away, but now given back. Here's Adams for 3, and she gets it.
Off the glass.
High rainbow. Big time shot, and that brings Baxter Springs right back in it. I mean, it's a big 2-possession game. As Kester says, no, I'll take this one away again. 16-8, 2:30 remaining here in the first. Kick out. They find themselves on the far wing, and it's Bella Cassida getting it this time.
I mean, Baxter's keeping up with the ladies, but if you're watching this game, you really just think that the Trojans are the dominant team here, but scoreboard doesn't fully reflect that, and that's just, it's a 2-possession game from either being tied or from the ladies being up on the scoreboard for the Tigers, and so, or Lions, or whatever they are, but.
Kester tries to find herself for a long look. Does not get it, and now it'll go back to the Lions as they've had back-to-back, well, I suppose back-to-back successful possessions. There were a couple of turnovers back and forth there, here and there, but back-to-back successful shots, I should say.
I definitely agree with you that whenever this Baxter team gets down the court and finally kind of gets a full offensive possession, they're scoring and they're getting points off of it.
Under the 2-minute mark, loose ball taken away. On the fast break, it's Mooneyham, and she drops in the 2. 18-11, extends the lead to 7, and it's out of bounds, tipped by the Trojans. They'll say it stays with the Lions. Adams was trying to recover that. I wonder if she got a fingertip on that at the end.
That's what I honestly thought. I thought it was going to be Girard ball, but the ref must have had a better eye than we could.
Here's the kick to the short wing and a travel called. I believe that goes against number 3, Kirsten Berggraf. So Layla Weaver steps out for Bailey Campbell, excuse me. Kester, wide open 3, and yes, can't leave her like that. 21-11, extends the lead into the double digits for the first time tonight. 65 seconds remain, and the Lions want another timeout.
We have a timeout, Baxter Springs.
We'll go ahead and keep it here with 64 seconds remaining in this first quarter. But it's been an interesting one. I mean, this is certainly a style. I was calling Lewisburg games for that first third of the season, and it's a completely different style of basketball that I'm seeing here in this area than what I was seeing up there in the Kansas City area, as that's more of like a refined offensive system and a refined defense, whereas here, I mean, Girard is just kind of ball chasing, and they're just aggressive. They're getting after it, and it's working. It's working so well for them, and I saw it last year as well, like I said in the pregame, how well that functioned for them, because they're just not afraid. They're not a very scared team, and they just go after the ball, and it's very hard to keep it away from them.
Definitely. I think there's not a ton of fundamentals whenever it comes to defense for the girls, other than just they see someone with the ball and they want to take that ball away. And so it's just, I mean, it works for them, and that's kind of how both of these Girard teams for the boys and girls operate, is that they play very scrappy and they play very quick, that it kind of shocks your opponents, and they're honestly not ready for just the quick, fast, and it confuses people, and that what forces all these turnovers that just are fundamental. And I mean, as I'm talking about it, you can see it happening on the court, and so it's always something that's worked for Coach Herlocker and all of his teams.
I was about to say, that was a prime example. I mean, you saw the trap up there at midcourt, and then all of a sudden the throwaway, trying to find a teammate and just can't quite. That one's too many steps. Sisney gets called for the travel. I don't know if she actually traveled there, but a lot of times you see that hesitation where it almost looks like they skip a dribble. That nearly always gets called.
The ref will call it every single time.
Working it underneath. Baxter springs, and two players hit the deck.
Looks like a jump ball, and it should be in favor of the Lions.
So the Lions will hang on to possession. On the inbound will be Maya Vestal. Scanning, and could not find an open teammate. That one was tipped away by Kennedy Keller. So now attempt number 2 here from Vestal. Scanning, and this one is given up. Boatman takes it away as Keller hits the deck on the far side. Kick out, Sisney on the drive. Can't get it, 24 seconds, and she'll be headed to the line for free throws. Blocking foul called against Vestal. Now Sisney with a chance to extend the lead to 12. And she gets to 11 with that first. Sisney off the back iron. Can't grab the second, and we have a jump ball, which should be in favor of the Trojans. Big time possession.
It's like on the scoreboard, about 22 seconds left in this first quarter, and so the ladies could hold it if they want to, but knowing this team, they're probably going to score, at least try to.
Say take your first shot within 10 seconds. You don't want to give Baxter any kind of mojo rolling into the second quarter. And Kester knocks down a 3, makes the lead 25-11, and that one comes up short from Adams. So that will be the score going into the second quarter. Baxter Springs 11, Girard 25. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back on Girard Sports Live here for basically the second kickoff of the season. This is coming out of Christmas break. This Girard team looking like they're picking up exactly where they left off. The Lions looking strong on offense. Defensively, not too bad, but the turnover game has killed them tonight so far. If they can limit those, there's a good chance that they bring themselves back into this game. Adams finds herself long two. Yes. Gets it to go.
I mean, that's just what you were talking about. It's just if the Lions can actually get an offensive possession, it seems like they're scoring on them, but it's just getting the ball down the court and actually setting up the offense is what's been the struggle for the Lady Lions tonight.
I haven't been taking precise statistics, but I'm pretty sure the Lions are near perfect on full offensive possessions, or at least on field goal percentage. They have had hardly any misses, as we see another couple players hit the deck. That was Boatman along with Avery. Avery has found herself on the floor a couple times here as of late in the first and early in the second. Maybe trying to out physicality Boatman down there. It's a tough challenge.
Definitely, and I think both these seniors that we have at Girard are both physical, and they both know how to get under the basket and kind of work their way to the rim, and so that's just part of how they've been coached and how both of them are, is just playing physical.
This one's poked out by Orand and will stay with Baxter. On the inbound, Kirsten Bergraff gets it in. This finds its way to Weaver. Three-point shots from Campbell did not go. Now it's back the other direction for the Trojans. Sisney into the corner with Boatman. And now back around the arc. Finds itself to Kester. Boatman, top of the key, gets it. 27-13 with 6:20 remaining in the second. Nice transition down the floor. Boatman gets a great block, but maybe a little too much hand on that. Malia Avery headed to the line. Boatman only at her second foul. Might be something to keep your eye on a little early in the second quarter. But I think she found her first early in the first quarter as well, so maybe just following a trend.
Yep. Looks like Erica will sit after that foul, and the freshman Briley Black will come into the game.
I like that call. You're up by quite a bit. Don't need to risk not having her for later points in the game.
Just playing it safe.
100%. Black, transition into Keller, out to Sisney. And now a loose ball ends up with Keller. Orand will reset at the top. And now they'll continue to work the perimeter. And maybe a foul whistle there, as
I would think it's a foul.
Yeah, Avery came toppling over. Who was that?
Really?
Sisney?
It was Sisney, yeah. Maybe it was Kennedy. It was one of the two.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch the number.
I'm honestly surprised it's not a foul.
Yeah, it was out of bounds and actually ended up with Baxter Springs possession. And the layup does not go. The first layup we've seen from Baxter Springs, and it was Vestal. And now Kester, slow to get down the floor. So it looks like she may have tweaked her ankle. As this stadium holds their breath, trying to see what will come of this. And she will actually make her way into the hallway. We'll keep an eye on that, as it looks like we're going to resume with these free throws. This is Orand, but certainly an injury of concern here for the Trojans.
And that's kind of like how I mentioned earlier that I saw Maddie kind of not favor that ankle, but that looked a lot worse than it did earlier. So hopefully nothing too serious, and hopefully she'll come back either this game or sometime soon.
And Orand gets the takeaway, tries to drive, and gets fouled on her way. Baxter Springs team trying to make their case. As they said, Vestal was standing straight up and down. I think she kind of moved into position just a little bit late there. Didn't quite get her feet set. Kester's back on the floor, or not on the floor, but back in the arena. And will make her way to the bench. So would not be surprised if they hold her off for the remainder of the game. That did not look like it was fun to walk on, let alone run or shoot. Keller's first drops in, breaking a bit of a drought here between these two teams. 5:15 remaining in the second. And just short on the second. Adams trying to take it down the floor, and she will lose it. Orand pokes it out again.
It definitely seems like every time that Carson Orand is guarding you one-on-one, you're either going to get the ball stolen from you or you're going to get the ball poked away. And so that's part of just how Carson's been as a player, is just being able to really start the steal game for the Trojans and just get those turnovers.
And you just see that right hand of hers just leaning a little bit closer, trying to see what it can grab at and take away. And speaking of takeaways, Girard with another there.
Just another one, yep.
Didn't see, I think it was just kind of a loose ball that ended up between Black and Keller. That one ends up empty-handed. Down the floor, Campbell takes the shot and drains it for two. 28-16 with 4:30 remaining. Orand down the floor as they'll move it across the perimeter. Mooneyham back out to Orand. Moving it around. Orand back at the top. Mooneyham finds herself right inside the arc off the back iron. Kick out. Orand for three. Can't go. Rebound Lions. And the ball is a little bit loose.
Almost just another, I mean, this is how the Lady Lions have been scoring, is just to kind of just be the first ones down and kind of get behind the Lady defense and just kind of get, it's not really cherry picking, but just kind of getting down there and trying to get behind the defense and get underneath the rim, and that's kind of been working for me in this game, just barely, just kind of, it's not your typical way of offense is what I guess I'm getting at, and just trying to get past the defense and just hope for the best and get an open look down low.
Yeah, and they've been certainly seeing those open looks. Girard certainly could be a little more lucrative on some of the opportunities that they've had on offense. I mean, they are up by 10, and their defense is impeccable tonight, but just kind of nitpicking here, they could be a little more lucrative, and I think that might be something that, of course, Coach O'Rocker is probably looking at, saying, you know, we're going to see those competitive teams down the line. Those shots are probably going to need to fall to find success, you know, as you look towards the postseason. But right now, you're only 5 games in. This is game 6 on the season. Those mistakes are a little bit easier to let go, and more of something that, as you work through the season and you see those practices, that's going to be a refinery point, just kind of saying, hey, let's make sure that when we get the ball underneath and we've got our hands up, we're going for that putback, those fall on those second chances. We don't want to see the third chance or the fourth chance. We want to get it done in 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I definitely think that tonight the ladies have had an incredible defensive game, but their offensive game, it's not looking like how it did before the break, and I get that this is the first game back since our winter break, and so it's going to be a little bit shaky to start with, but hopefully after a couple games the ladies will get back to how they looked on offense of just kind of, it seemed like before the break they would score on every single possession down the floor, and so that's just what you want to try to get back to and make sure that you're scoring whenever you can.
Orand gets called for a reach there. Got a little too aggressive on the attempted steal, but as you were saying that, it sounded like Orand kind of took that personally, drained that 3 from the top of the key, said, no, our offense is still here. We're still working it. Campbell hands it off to Adams. Back to Campbell. And the fading 2 almost goes in. And the takeaway back to Keller. Working it down the floor to Black. Black gets called for a charge. I didn't quite see when Adams got there. But a lot of times you see that foul call go the other direction. Oh, no, excuse me.
It does look like she'll be at the line. Maybe.
Everybody else thought it was a defensive foul. I mean, even the Lions were under the assumption that that was against them, which is what I was saying is a lot of times on that hustle down the floor, you don't see that go in favor of the defense.
No.
But that time, they must have thought Adams really got established there at the base and just got flat ran over. So another foul comes in from Black as she collects her second, and they will say that Berggraf had her foot on the line when she received the ball. So,
yep, and I mean, I think she took a step after Carson poked it away again, and so that's just, Carson didn't necessarily end up with the ball, but she was the one that caused that turnover from what I could see.
Keller's pass a little bit high. Orand had a little bit of trouble to receive it, and they'll go back to Baxter Springs. Trying to find an inbound. Ends up with it was Berggraf. And poked out by Orand. That's going to be a phrase you hear quite a bit tonight. Already heard it probably 7 times.
I lost count of turnovers.
Yeah.
I was counting them, but we'll say there's a lot.
Adams, top of the key. Works to the perimeter as they hand it off. Weaver. Back to Adams. Adams searching for a lane. Puts a spin move on. Finds a little bit of space with Orand, but she recovers promptly. Keller's pass. Way too far for Black, and it goes out of bounds. A little bit of a drought here as we enter the final 2 minutes of the first half. 1:59 remaining. Very interesting second quarter that we've seen. A little bit different from that first quarter. Lions able to move the ball down the floor pretty consistently, but now losing their stride on offense. And Girard losing a little bit of the touch on the aggressive defense, but picking things up on offense. So they'll work it with Mooneyham. And now over to Orand. Back to Mooneyham. Searching for a driving lane. Black, mid-range 2, floaters in. 33-18, 1:10 remaining. The Lions lose the ball again. Sisney with it this time. Great 2-step, won't go, and Keller with a putback gets fouled.
I mean, it just seems like we're watching the same play over and over again tonight of just the ladies get a steal, they run down the court, and they get a layup or a foul, and it's just kind of, I mean, it's working, and it's successful, and it's how this Lady Trojan team plays.
I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more players for Baxter Springs in foul trouble with how often it seems. But, you know, we say that, but it really isn't as often as it seems. I think there's been a lot of time in this game that has gone without a score. Like a lot, or I guess I worded that weirdly, but a lot of time that both teams have had kind of a drought in scoring, where both teams have been working it down and back to the floor and just haven't been able to find the bottom of the bucket. And then once one team gets going, the other team kind of gets going too. And then it's like they're on the same tempo, with Baxter Springs lagging behind a little bit, but they're on the same schedule, I guess is what I should call it.
Yep, and like you said, I mean, it seems like Baxter has a ton of fouls tonight. Baxter just a little bit ago picked up their 5th foul, sending the Trojans to the bonus, but even the Trojan girls, they only have 4 fouls on their own. And so it just, I think the clock is getting stopped a lot due to turnovers and that sort of thing. And so it seems like there's a lot more turnovers than there actually is. But honestly, tonight it's been just a clean game with just a lot of turnovers on the Baxter Lions side of things.
Well, and the good thing for Girard with all this clock stoppage is when you play that style of aggressive defense, it is exhausting. I mean, that's a pretty obvious thing, but you don't think about it a lot as a viewer, is how exhausting that aggressive style of defense can become, even with proper conditioning. But as much as the Lions are stopping the clock with fouls or getting fouled even, it is allowing an extensive recovery period here for the Trojans to kind of sit down and go, okay, catch my breath for a second, and then we'll get right back to it. And then offensively, they've had so much time of possession that they've been able to do the same there as well.
I agree with you. I mean, Baxter's used their coaching. They've used a decent amount of their timeouts already just in this first half, and so that's just another way that this Lady Trojans team is able to get a little bit of a breather whenever they're playing this quick, fast-paced style of play.
Flip it over to Sisney, 14 seconds and counting. Missed buckets inside of 10. Looks like the Lions are going to try to hang on to this. Keller gets the takeaway and drops in a 2 for the buzzer. 37-18 is the score as we head into halftime. We'll take a break and we'll be right back with some halftime analysis.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Welcome to Homestead of Girard, assisted and independent living right here in our hometown. At Homestead, seniors enjoy compassionate care in a community designed for comfort. Licensed professionals provide support with daily activities, dressing, bathing, and medication management. Residents enjoy home-cooked meals and the comfort of their own private apartment. Call 620-724-6760 to schedule your tour today. Homestead of Girard, senior living with compassion, comfort, and community.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
More than just your neighborhood pharmacy, Mathis Drug is your hometown partner in health. With pharmacist Bria Scheibe and an experienced, highly trained staff, Mathis Drug is ready to serve you. And now Mathis Drug offers comprehensive compounding, which is one of the few pharmacies in Southeast Kansas with this convenient on-site service. From medications to expert advice, call 620-261-9779. Mathis Drug Store, where community and care come together.
I was hoping to talk to someone about updating my insurance policy.
I am able to understand complete sentences.
That was a complete sentence?
I didn't understand that.
Can I just talk to a person?
No one talks to humans anymore.
Sometimes humans are just more helpful.
I hear you. Why don't we review your coverage with a super check?
Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Call Judd, Lori, Jenny, or Amber in Girard today. Call service is outstanding in their field, especially for those that are stuck, outstanding in their field. Coles carries a wide selection of farm, industrial, and heavy-duty tires, all from the best brands in the business. And they've got farm service trucks ready to go. Plus, Coles continues to be the place folks go for car and truck tires, repairs, oil changes, and so much more. If you're in the market for new tires in Southeast Kansas, make the right call to Coles Service, 620-724-4121. See more at ColesServiceLLC.com.
Halftime show sponsor is brought to you by GN Bank, where they've been providing customers with the highest quality financial services in a friendly and personal way for over 100 years. Personal, business, or agricultural needs, turn to GN Bank. Learn more at gn-bank.com. And the eye on the game is brought to you by Kenara Eye Care as well. As we take a look back at the first half, Kenara Eye Care is here to make sure you can see what you're looking at. Kenara Eye Care, with locations in Pittsburgh and Girard, is here to help their valued customers. Learn more at KenaraEyeCare.com. Excuse me. It's been a long one already. As we look back in the first half, very interesting one as well. The Girard Trojans leading 37-18 over the Baxter Springs Lions. And the story of the game, as predicted by Caleb, is the turnovers.
Yep. Which, I mean, that's something that you like to see every single game with this Lady team, and they've been better about it some nights than others, but whenever they get these turnovers like this, you always know that it's going to be a dominant performance and just that they're going to be the team that comes out on top. And so far in this game, it's definitely what it seems like.
Yeah, and for Baxter Springs, I feel like there's definitely some bright spots to this Lady Lady Lions. Excuse me, you said Tigers earlier, and now you got me all mixed up. But anyways, there is some bright spots to this Lady Lions team. Early on in the game, we saw them pretty much lights out from outside the arc, and then just any time they had a full possession, it seemed like they were capitalizing on those opportunities and keeping themselves within reach of this game. I think only being down by like 5 towards the end of the first quarter. And then things really shifted in the second. They were pretty well shut out in the second quarter, and then now Girard leading by nearly 20, sitting at a 19-point lead as it stands, which is just a substantial difference when you're staring down just the back half of a game as a 1-5 team, and you know you were the underdog coming into this.
Yep. The thing with the Lady Trojans against this team tonight is just making sure that you don't let them try to crawl back or anything like that. And so far, it feels like a weird game whenever you're watching it because, I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, the Lady Trojans are almost up by about 20. But whenever watching this game, it honestly doesn't feel like that should be the case. And it feels like they're only up by maybe, like you said, 5 or 10. And it's just kind of, it just feels weird watching it, which that also might just be this first game since break. But I think with this Lady Trojans team is not really giving up and making sure that you still are dominant and make sure that you're still getting those turnovers, because that's what has led you to this point so far in the match.
I was about to say, just collecting those turnovers in this second half as well is going to be important, because you're going to slow down the time of possession for Baxter and the attempted shots from Baxter Springs, because like you said, you don't want them to be able to crawl back, and the more time and the more opportunities that they get at the basket, the more chances or the more times that they're going to capitalize on those chances and eventually bring it back. I mean, they only have 18 on the board because they didn't get a ton of opportunities.
Yep.
I mean, they only had 11 through the first quarter, so you really limited their opportunities in the first half. You quit limiting them, and all of a sudden Baxter Springs might start to show some teeth on the offensive side, and for Girard, you can't afford that. So you want to make sure that you're limiting them to averaging 9 points a quarter, and you're going to take down the victory.
I agree with you. That's just, you can't let this Baxter team get hot because they've proved that they can score, and so you need to make sure that you're making sure that that doesn't happen and that you're getting those steals and keeping up your defensive efforts and not shying away from that in the second half.
Yeah, just getting those points off of turnovers as well, very important. I mean, I think I would beg to say that maybe every single point might be off of a turnover.
I mean,
in
that's
some capacity.
not far off, yeah.
But it's been a stellar show from the defense of Girard. If the offensive side can pick this up, and like you said, and like we've kind of prefaced this first game back from break, you know, the shot might feel just a little bit cold. The arena's just a little bit different of a feeling than the practice that you've been having the last couple of weeks. So you're getting acquired to it again, and those will start to fall. But getting that kind of warmed up, at least in this second half, I'd like to see a little more scoring out of the offense, just with how many opportunities they had in the first half. But we'll take one more break here on the halftime show, and we'll be right back after this for the second half of action. Stay tuned on Girard Sports Live.
Hold on. It's monstrous.
With Crawcan's multi-gig internet, you can experience monstrous speeds for every device in your home or business at the same time for a low, no-nonsense price.
Selling equipment can be a hassle. Whether you're needing to replace an old tractor or you're finally getting to retire, the time and energy needed to clean, prep, promote, and sell seems daunting. That's why you need Tyler Jackman and Big Iron Auctions. From one piece to the whole farm, Big Iron Auctions can deliver your items to more than 750,000 registered bidders. Call Tyler Jackman at 620-404-8115 or learn more at BigIronAuctions.com.
Back on Girard Sports Live, 37-18 after the first half of action, and we are set and ready to go for quarter number 3. 16 minutes of play remaining for both of these lady teams. Baxter Springs searching for their second win. Girard looking to stay on pace for this season. Kester back on the floor.
Well, that was something I was about to note, was just that Maddie looks like she's moving around a little bit better, and looks like trainer Todd took a look at her, and he's good at what he does, so I think she should be all right.
Campbell finds herself down low for a 2, and it's tapped out of bounds by Boatman. Starters on the floor for both of these teams. But kind of keeping a note on Kester as she's looks to be moving a little bit more cautiously. I wouldn't say losing a step at all in her agility, but the way her body movement's not super aggressive and a little bit more cautious, as Oran, not moving cautiously, drops in another 2 off the steal.
Yep, and I figured that Maddie wouldn't come out of this game if she was given the opportunity to stay in it, just because she's tough and she's going to want to play in these games that are important to her. And so I think she was going to come back as long as everyone was letting her.
Up at the top. Move it into the corner with Weaver. And now underneath, Campbell, step back 2, gets it to go. 20 points for the Lions. 39-20 is the overall score as Kester loses this one And it'll be a turnover on the Trojans. Just a bit of a misstep there, kind of dribbled into her own foot. As the full court press has waned off just a little bit here from the Trojans as well. Handoff, sweeping around to the other side. Berggraf back up to the top with Cassida. She finds herself 2 in. 17-point lead for Girard as they move it over. Kester driving down the left side and loses it again. Interesting there out of Kester, back-to-back turnovers.
That's very uncharacteristic of her, and so that's something that may have to look out for. And obviously there's the injury that she's dealing with, and so it'll be something to see what happens.
And she will go up and come down softly, using her knees that time instead of absorbing it in her ankles. You can just kind of see the difference in the mannerisms from her, and I wonder if that's kind of a little bit of a mental block for her as she's dribbling around, feeling like she doesn't really have that break power to get around defenders or just get that extra step like she usually does.
Yep.
And if that's kind of preventing her from playing her usual game. Nonetheless, might not be a bad thing to get used to if you're going to want to play in the coming games. I mean, this schedule just speeds up as we go throughout it.
And they add up quick.
Oran gets another takeaway. And down the floor, lays it in for 2. Up to a 21-point lead with 5:30 remaining in the third. This one goes out of bounds.
Number 22, Micah Adams.
Sisney on the inbound gives it off to Orand as she will take it down the floor. Moves it over. Kester for 3, just short. Now back the other direction as Weaver gives it off to Adams. Adams trying to drive hard. Forced to kick it out. This one's loose and ends up in the hands of Berggraf. She'll hand it off back to Adams. Now Campbell in 3 territory.
About 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
And a takeaway by Boatman as she tries to work her way through the defenders and did not establish herself. Tried to pull her foot back just in time.
I think she didn't realize that she was out of bounds and realized a little bit too late.
Down the floor with Adams for Baxter. Springs almost and over and back as Orand hits the deck. And Berggraf with the inbound. Adams to Berggraf on the outside. Almost losing it. Now Adams finds herself. Mid-range jumper won't go. It's saved by Avery, and Kester will slow things down. Try to work it inside to Boatman. It's tipped away. Keller ends up with it and gets fouled on her way up to the basket. She'll be shooting 2.
That's just another foul on Kennedy. It seems like every time that she shoots the ball tonight, she's getting fouled.
She has had quite a few visits to the charity stripe tonight, finding herself in a lot of positions. I think one of those reasons is I think Boatman is kind of a big name when you're coming to Girard.
Yep.
You feel like you have to guard her, and you ignore the fact that there are 4 other stars on this starting lineup that can all do just as much damage, if not more, at times. and Keller being 100% one of them.
There's just another foul, but like you were saying, but the pair of seniors with Maddie and Erica, they're both incredible basketball players, and so you almost forget about the other three on the court of Carson's great at operating and being a floor general, while Marley and Kennedy can really score from wherever, and so this team really works well together with just the amount of leadership and them all being upperclassmen at this point, but they've really worked well together, and they're really great at making sure that they can facilitate on defense and then get those opportunities on offense.
Yeah, I almost referred to them as a supporting cast, but it's really not what it is. I mean, I was going to say it just as a general term, but all of these players are very much stars in their own fashion and capable of doing just as much as the next. I mean,
and I agree with you. I mean, on most teams, you'll typically see just those role players that don't do a whole lot, but you've got on this team, everyone can play defense, everyone can score, and it's just, there's not one thing that one of these girls can't do that the others can. And so it's just, that's something that if you're Coach Herlocker, you love to see as your starting five.
Sisney gets the and one. And now she will take a trip to the charity stripe, 48-24. 4 fouls. Oh, excuse me, that was the earlier one. Avery was at 4 fouls after her previous. Boatman and Kester step off for...
Looks like Trojana and Black, and this is Callie Trojona's first time checking in tonight.
And gets the 3-point play. Extends the lead 49-24.
Looks like Marley will sit and Augie Mooneyham will come into the game to replace her.
Working it underneath. Here's Burgraff for 3. Will get nothing, and head coach Kyle Krotz is saying a little more arch on that shot, as it was a bit flat. It looked kind of like Ray Allen-esque, very direct at the bucket. There's a shot from Trojana, put back won't go either. I believe that was Keller. Mooneyham, long 2 won't go, and it's rebounded by Adams. Burgraff hands it off. And this one's batted away. We've got a foul called on the floor.
Foul on number 12,
and that will go against Weaver, as she was fighting for possession. Wouldn't say, I don't think that was an intentional.
It didn't look intentional, but that's just kind of where, just kind of what happened. But there's definitely a little bit of a gasp from the Girard side.
To the line, shooting 2.
Keller hit the deck pretty hard and far away from where the first contact was, so certainly going to draw some eyes. Hard to get away with that one if you're Weaver.
Which, something that's kind of become a reoccurrence this season is Kennedy hitting the floor just because of how physical, and she is always going after the ball, so shouldn't be too bad on her. But
Keller's first falls in and breaks the 50 threshold. Up to 13 points on the quarter here for Girard.
Yep, and with that being the 5th foul, the Lady Trojans enter the bonus with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the quarter, and so that's just, that'll be a lot of free throws coming up, hopefully, for the rest of this quarter.
2 more coming up from Black here, that time on a shooting foul. And that will go against Layla Weaver as well, and that's her 3rd. So Weaver tacking on 2 to the foul count of hers.
Which, so far, I do not believe that any lady for either of these teams are in foul trouble, but
I believe Avery Malia Avery is at 4, and she hasn't seen the court since she had her 4th. But other than that, I think everybody's at 3 or less. I think she's the only one at 4. And a takeaway, Black Open courts and drops in the two. 53-24 with 2:25 remaining. Not a lot of time, and that was 4 points there for the Trojans.
Yep, and this Lady team, they'll score and they'll score quick.
Transitioning the ball, Cassida over to Burgraff. Burgraff around to Adams, trying to make her way around Keller. Back over to Cassida.
About 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
She will step out with 1 remaining.
Fouls on number 2, Briley Black, her third, team first.
She got fouled, so I think they kind of a little bit of a relief without having to worry about that shot clock anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Black gets called for her 3rd foul. They move it into Weaver. Weaver loses it, and it's Mooneyham. Back and forth with her and Keller. Great ball movement. Collects the 2 underneath. Up to a 31-point lead here for the Trojans. Six points has been the yield for the Lions in this quarter alone. And for the Trojans, it's been 18, which has been about their quarter average.
Yep.
18 and a half has been through the first 2, so we'll see if they can accelerate here.
And I think at the start of this quarter, it was kind of just going back and forth, it seemed, between these 2 teams, but definitely for the second half of this quarter, the ladies have just been piling it on and really upping their scoring, and so just fully pulling away in this one.
Sisney tries to drive, gets through some contact with Campbell, and Campbell's hobbling back down the floor and looks to be okay now, as she maybe just needed to walk it off. That's a big name player for the Lions. From what I've seen tonight, 2 of the big players, Campbell and Adams, being able to move the ball and shoot the ball pretty effectively. And here's one of them, Adams for a 3, won't go. Campbell put back, won't go either. And Avery back in the game with her 4 fouls. Playing a little more passive this time around.
Looks like a couple more possessions this quarter with about 44 seconds left.
Mooneyham kicks it to the corner. Black inside. Trezona back outside. And now it ends up with Sisney on the far block. 9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. 30 seconds on the game clock, and she will be fouled, headed to the line for 2.
And that looks like that is Avery's 5th foul, and so she will be done for the night.
Tough exit there in the 3rd quarter. Just kind of found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
There for her 5th. And she's pretty disappointed at the fact that she has to leave this game early, but at least it's not a competitive one here. I think if you're Baxter Springs, you kind of look at this and go, well, she could have fouled out in worse times.
Definitely, and those are whenever it hurts to foul out, just with.
You feel like it costs your team a little bit. Now, I wouldn't say so much. I mean, a 32-point difference with 26 seconds remaining in the 3rd. We may not see the starters for Girard after maybe a couple minutes in the 4th.
Yep, and with the big score difference, it looks like there probably will be a running clock for this 4th quarter.
Mooneyham working her way underneath. Oh, toilet bowl's out. That one looked like it was in.
5 seconds left on the clock.
Recovered by Sisney. She's going to have a half-court shot. Will it go off the backboard? No dice. 56-24 is the score as we enter into the final quarter of action. 8 minutes remaining in this contest. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I was raised in a small town, and there was a lot of people who took time to invest in me. And so when we decided to open up our offices, we want to make sure that we're pouring back into the community that's giving to us. We care. We want to be involved. We want to have a passion for what you have a passion for. We want to be able to give back. And that's the foundation. That's why we're more than just insurance.
(56-24) is the score here in Girard for the, I like to call it the second half kickoff of the season. As we discussed, not quite a half, but more so a third of the way through the season. It certainly feels like a halfway point as we see a collection of new faces on the floor here.
It looks like a 3 from Black. But I agree with you. It looks like all the starters have subbed down, and Coach Urlacher was getting deeper in his bench with some of the freshmen and sophomores getting a chance to play.
Yeah, and these are big moments. You like to see this because it kind of lays out the future, and come out, bang a 3, and now another turnover here for your freshman squad. You like to see that aggression and playing basically on pace with your varsity team.
Yep, and I mean, whenever this is something that happens quite often with Coach Urlacher's teams, is that, and that's how all these players get great experience, is just if your varsity can rack up the points and then you have your freshmen and your JV playing in these last minutes, that's what really helps out, is that just you're getting that great experience. And so a lot of these girls and a lot of the starters now had this exact same experience with Coach Urlacher, was just they got minutes whenever they were younger, and so that's what really helps make them into great players.
Yeah, what a bonus it is, you know, because you get those opportunities because your team is already so great, because you're dominating other schools in the area, and now you're giving opportunity to your JV squad, your undergrads, you know, or undergrads, lower. What is the term?
Underclassmen.
Underclassmen. Sorry, I was searching for it. I couldn't quite find it. But getting a chance for your underclassmen, and it's just such a big deal to be able to get that varsity experience for them. Black on the outside. They'll move it around to Mooneyham. Now back across the perimeter. Mooneyham drives, kicks it across. Trojans facing the trap. Now back out. Black for 3. Can't go. Rebound. Back out to Trojans for the putback. Stolen by Black. And she will be fouled on her way to the bucket. Now Briley Black gets to head to the line as Weaver enters foul trouble here. 4 fouls for her. Black just a bit short on that first try. And number 2 off to the left. So now Adams drawn up the offense with Campbell, as starters remain pretty well on the floor here for Baxter Springs, not really wavering and dipping too deep into their bench. which might be just as important here for Baxter Springs to get that experience maybe against a team that feels a little more on par with you. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but in reality, both of these teams have been keeping up with each other back and forth.
Yep, I agree with you, and I honestly think that with these Lady Trojans team, whenever just watching them, it seems like you're seeing the exact same thing that you saw with the starters, just with new names and new faces. And so that's the big thing, is just whenever you see the talent, you can really see the coaching that Coach Urlacher has done with all these Lady Trojans, of just how he wants them to play and how well they can really show that, of how just poking the ball away, getting those steals, getting inside the paint and being physical, getting second chance opportunities. It's all part of Coach Urlacher's game plan, and you can see it at all different levels of the game.
Running clock has brought this down to 4:24 already in the fourth. It has certainly accelerated. It will be only moments before this game blows its final whistle, which is why I think it is so surprising that you leave the starters on here for the Lions, because it's one of those situations where it's great to get your starters experience, but at the same time, you'd hate to see one of them go down. And I hate speaking that even into existence, but it just feels like a little bit too much risk. Even though that risk is so small, it is too much risk for what's at stake here.
Which I agree with you, is that that's the last thing that anyone would want, would be any injury at any point in the game, but it's just this game, you could definitely say it's been over for a little bit, and so you don't want anything that could cost your team in the future to happen, and so you want to be careful whenever who you're playing. And honestly, just it's a great idea just to get some of those younger girls some of the experience in the game, and just kind of matching them with this Girard's JV team.
And there's a foul called underneath. Headed to the line for the Lions will be Maya Vestal. Trojana gets called for her first. And now, as we talked about before, with all those fouls stopping the clock, allowing some recovery period, different scenario here as the clock keeps ticking. Vestal capitalizes on her second, bringing the score 59-25. Now down the floor, Brooks in the corner. Kicks it up to the elbow and fouled almost with the and one.
Fouls on number 24, Bailey Campbell, her second, team third. To the line, shooting two, number 5, Macy Munkin.
Munkin drains the first of her free throws.
Subbing in for the Lady Lions, number 3, Kirsten Burgraff. And for the Lady Trojans, number 2, Riley Black.
Black comes back in as well. A couple of substitutions on the floor, and Munkin goes 2 for 2 on that visit. Something that we didn't talk about a lot in this contest was free throw percentages, and the difference. I don't think it made a big difference, because I think both teams shot about the same percentage-wise from the line, but how much of a difference it may have been able to make had one or the other team really accelerated at the charity stripe.
And I agree with you. I think with this Lady Trojans team is, I've honestly seen them shoot the free throw a little bit better in other nights, but that's just another one of those. It kind of feels like the season's restarting all over again, and so it's been a little bit since they've played, and so it's just one of those things that I think will go back to normal after a couple of games.
Certainly in the refining stage once again, which is kind of a pro and a con of this season and the structure at which it holds. You get that break. It's very nice for the players, because through the first 5 games it can be a little bit exhausting, and then all of a sudden you realize, okay, we actually do need the conditioning that coach has been telling us, and you can get that in during the break, and then you come back, you feel a little bit different, but also that difference can kind of hurt you a little bit too, as not as we're seeing tonight, but just with the field goal percentage and the free throw percentage, like we talked about, being able to capitalize on some of the opportunities that Girard created for themselves would have been a little bit nicer to see, as they could have easily been up to 80 points by now.
And that's just one of those things that the break is great for people to get healthy and get back to 100% and just getting fully into the basketball mindset. And so I think the break was great for the Lady Trojans of getting people back to being healthy and whatnot. And so that's just the big thing of making sure that this team can be matched to their full potential.
And a live ball, as nobody moved there, but the official was calling it as if it were live. Nobody, I think that was just a court confusion there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
But regardless, doesn't change the outcome of the game. 63-25 is the score between the Trojans and the Lions. Fourth quarter ends there as the first game back. Trojans move to 5-1 as the Lions fall to 1-6 on the season. A lot of bright spots for both of these teams, I think, as going forward. You're going to be looking at some of those refining points and saying, those are things we can pick up on, but for Baxter Springs, a little bit more of a pickup period for them than you have for the Trojans, and what you need to refine going into these next few games.
Yep, I agree with you. I think tonight was another great game for the Lady Trojans of just showing their dominant style of play and just another win under their belt, and so it was just great to start the break off with a win and get back into the roll of things.
100%. Well, we'll go ahead and send it to a break here on Girard Sports Live. Stay tuned as we've got the boys game right around the corner here. It's going to be a fun one like the previous, so do not go anywhere. Girard Sports Live will be back after this one.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
At the Farm and Ranch Division of the Four-State Agency, we're a team of experts who genuinely care about you and your farming operation. That's why whether it's a visit to your farm or a friendly chat at our office, we're committed to delivering the service you deserve. Our team is fully licensed in both crop insurance and LRP, allowing us to cover your entire farming operation across Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Contact us today to see how we can help.
Producers Cooperative Association is the area leader in providing quality agricultural products, services, and markets. PCA has what you need to maximize your operation with a full-service agronomy department, grain origination, handling and storage, bulk fuels and lubricants, propane, a jam-packed farm store, and livestock feeds in bulk or bagged. PCA is proud to call Girard home and to support Trojan athletics. Stop by or see more online at pcacoop.com.
Siebert back to pass. Lehman diving for the end zone, and they get the listing. Lehman passes off to Siebert on the far wing. Siebert the lob, and Lehman with the alley-oop dunk to close the deal. Lehman a hard hit ball to left field. Siebert is at the wall, and they close another one. Lehman Realty with another big-time win. Lehman Realty, proud to support the Girard Trojans.
tries to make something out of nothing. The Trojans all over him. It's going to be a big
A
loss.
Trojan sack means $2 short stacks at Eastside Cafe. Kick off your day with a hearty breakfast or take that midday break at Eastside Cafe. And this fall, when the Trojans get a sack, you get $2 short stacks the following day. Dine in only. Restrictions apply. Eastside Cafe, a favorite of the 4 states winner. Go Trojans from Eastside Cafe.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Every day, people are discovering that bigger isn't better, better is better. Big box stores continue to disappoint. You have spoken, and we have been listening. You want a great selection with dependable service at a competitive price. We understand, and that's what we bring to you every day. We know that we have to work hard to earn your business, and we will. Bigger isn't better, better is better at Heidrich's, Fort Scott, and Girard.
There are places where all roads lead to...
Here we are back post-game for the girls contest in Girard. I have Coach Brad Urlacher here on the mic with me. Brad, can you tell us a little bit about how you feel about that victory? You know, you came in as the clear favorites, you know, just record-wise, and the girls showing out and taking down the victory by almost 40 points. How do you feel a little bit about that?
Well, I think it was the typical first game back from break. I felt like our defense was pretty crisp in that first quarter. I don't think that we capitalized as much as we needed to. And then when we got in the mode of the defense and we didn't get that immediate layup, we still tried to force something as opposed to pulling out and going ahead and running an offense. So, our execution wasn't there tonight. I feel like, that's a typical game back from break thing, but we got a lot of big teams coming up here, and our effort, quite frankly, our effort tonight will not get it done versus a really, really good team. So a lot to work on. Again, I felt like, especially in that second quarter, a lot of unforced errors. I felt like, though, in the second half, we kind of settled down and settled in, did a better job. We moved the ball a little bit better and got some better shots because we did. I just felt like I was a broken record telling them to move the ball, and we'd move it a couple times and we tried to shove it in somewhere or do something. So, always learning, always getting better, and at the end of the day, this isn't a video game. Even though we were a heavy favorite, that other team still wants to win, and they did a pretty good job of making the game sloppy and being super physical as we got to the rim. And so, our shots weren't going as well tonight, and maybe that physicality had something to do with it.
Yeah, one of the big things that me and Caleb talked about on the broadcast was the field goal percentage seemed just a little bit low, but that was a trend for a game back. Are there certain things that you've done in the past, recovering from this break and seeing it in action, just kind of the little bit of ice that you need to shave off on some of those shots going forward into the season?
Yeah, basketball is an unbelievably simple game, and at the end of the day, the kids just have to get reps, and as they get reps, as they make shots, they build confidence in themselves and see that shot going in. Then in a high-pressure situation of a game, then it's going to go in. We've been off a Christmas break. It's a long break. I feel like we've had good practices coming back from the break, so I didn't anticipate us to be as cold as we were tonight. But the kids have got to spend some time in the gym, on their own, getting up those extra outside shots, especially if they want to shoot that many of them. I felt like in the second half we didn't always settle for that outside shot. We got the ball inside more, and when we did shoot an outside shot, it was inside out and a lot better look than what we were getting in that first half. So just keep grinding, keep getting better, and it's going to get real after this week with I think I counted up 6 possible in the next 3 weeks, 6 possible ranked teams that are in the Burlington tournament. Colgan's like second in 2A, and Fort Scott's undefeated as well, along, like I said, with I think 4 undefeated teams in the Burlington tournament. So we got to get things figured out. We got to get things fixed. The one constant, and I felt like it showed up especially in the second half, is that defense. And when we have an off shooting night, when we don't execute on offense like we should, our defense stays overall fairly constant. And the kids, it wasn't effort at all tonight. It was simply execution, both offensively and defensively at times. And definitely things we can fix.
And then my final question, is there anything that you say, you kind of talked about being a broken record in the huddle and just trying to tell them to move the ball just a little bit more, but is there anything that you say to really get some of those players going and fired up, as you guys are a very active team, just constantly moving around on the floor defensively and offensively? What is it that you say to your players that just kind of gets them fired up to do that?
Well, it's nothing with me, man. This is a veteran group of kids that we've been in a lot of battles together, and they've got a tremendous amount of heart. This group of kids has a tremendous amount of heart. Nothing to do with me, everything to do with them, and they are gonna. That's what you'll see if you do this gig for very long, man. We bring the defense every night, and I'm so proud of these girls for that. So we'll get it back on track, and hopefully Friday, and get things figured out and execute a lot better.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to watching this team succeed throughout the rest of the season.
I'm excited too. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. That was head coach Brad Urlacher of the Girard Trojan girls. And we will go ahead and take a break here on Girard Sports Live. We'll be right back with the pregame of the boys. Stay tuned.
There are places where all roads lead to families providing for their loved ones and their community, where friends are found down every street. That's where you'll find us, taking time to get to know you, calling you by name, generation after generation. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Call Judd, Lori, Jenny, or Amber in Girard today.
Back on Girard Sports Live after that short break. We're going to go ahead and jump into the boys' pregame show, which is brought to you by Community National Bank and Trust. Serving the area for over 30 years. Stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan Instant Issue Mascot Debit Card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard schools. Equal housing lender member FDIC. Learn more at mybankcnb.com. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the area matchups from around the area. And it is brought to you by Diskins Auto and Towing, 120 East Forest Avenue in downtown Girard. Diskins offers 24-hour towing and can repair all makes and models. To learn more, contact Diskins Auto and Towing at 620-724-8100. And as we look across, Galena currently at Cherryvale, and Riverton facing off against Diamond in their home arena. So two competitive teams, especially on the boys' end. You look at Galena and being a bit of a force to be reckoned with throughout the last couple of seasons. So that's going to be one you're going to want to follow here, Caleb.
Yep, and then just some of those other CNC matchups tonight. You got the head-to-head CNC matchup with Baxter versus Colgan, so that'll be interesting to see which team can come on top on that one and see which team really can show what team is better in the CNC. And then you got Columbus is up against Southeast tonight, and Frontenac is going up against Fort Scott, so a couple of non-league matchups, but see how well those teams can pair against each other and see how well those teams will end up on top and see who can be competitive this year.
Yeah, I think you look at those last two matches that you mentioned, Columbus and Southeast and Frontenac and Fort Scott, honestly not super, it is out of league, but I think those are going to be two pretty high caliber matches in their own capacity. seeing that the competition level is very similar in those teams respectively.
Yep, and with Frontenac and Columbus, those are two of the teams that they're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole for our CNC league so far, with Columbus being 1-5 and Frontenac being 0-5, I believe, which these are also max prep stats, so could change based off of how accurate this is, but those are two teams that maybe aren't as great in the CNC this year, and so that'll be interesting to see how well they can play against some of those other area teams that aren't in our league. But that should be it for CNC matchups this week, at least tonight.
Well, we'll go ahead and jump into the keys to the game, which is brought to you once again by the Producers Co-op Association. For more than 75 years, PCA has proudly served Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri as a full-service member-owned agricultural cooperative. Right here in Girard, PCA is proud to support local families, schools, and community events, investing in the neighbors they serve every day. Visit PCA at any one of our locations, including Girard, Fort Scott, Liberal, and Moundville. And I believe keys to the game, if you watch the girls' game, they're going to be relatively similar here for this boys team.
I agree with you, which with this boys team is they may not be as dominant with the steals as the ladies are, but they are definitely great at getting turnovers and definitely playing their brand of defense. And so I think the big thing for them tonight is scoring and getting rebounds, which this boys team isn't necessarily the tallest team out there and they're not the oldest team out there, but they're going to need to make sure that they're getting boards and putting good shots back up on the offensive side of things. And so I think, especially with this Lions team, is this is a young Lions team, which, I mean, we've seen quite often of just that there's not a single senior on this team, and then if you go to the Girard side of things, like we've said all year, you have the lone senior in Adrian Newton, and you need to see leadership from him to see how he can really help this team out. But he's also the tallest person on our boys team, standing at 6'3", and with the Lions, they have multiple players that are, if I can count them up, they've got one 6'3" player, two, and a couple people that are 6'2". So this is definitely a taller team that this boys team will need to make sure that they can match up in sides with.
Starting lineups up next are brought to you by the Jagged Edge. The Trojans will start this game in style, but now nowhere near the level of style you'll find at the Jagged Edge. Stylist Carla Sands will have you looking your best for your next big game. Make an appointment soon by calling 620-724-7500. And starting lineups, go ahead, deal them to me here for Caleb.
All right, so for our starting lineup, we have a guard standing at 6 foot who is a junior for the Lions, Caleb Grant, number 3. Logan Abbott, number 5 for the Lions, who is also a junior, standing at 5'9", as a guard. You have number 12, Cole Parrish, who is a sophomore, standing at 5'10", who will be playing guard as well. Number 20, Isaiah Main, who is a junior, standing at 5'10", another guard. And number 22, Braden Wade, a junior at 6'2", playing forward.
And then for your Girard Trojans, number 1, the junior standing at 5'11", Perrin Stevens. Number 4, the sophomore standing at 6'2", Jackson Smith. Number 5, the junior standing 6'1", Harrison Burke. Number 12, the junior standing 6'2", Ben Cullen. And number 35, the junior standing 5'11", Blake Brocob.
That's all right, you're new here.
This is my first run with the Trojans, so I'll have it down from now on.
There you go.
Brocob. But getting set for this opening tip-off, which is brought to you by Farmers Bank. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard, sponsor of the opening tip. This team for the Trojans, like we talked about, a very aggressive style of play, similar to that of the girls' team. You can expect a similar defense and offensive scheme, but like we talked about with head coach Brad Urlacher, a little bit short on the shooting tonight for the girls' team. Boys trying to pick up from that state of the game. A quick bucket dropped in from the starter, Logan Abbott.
And just as you were saying, I think the boys are going to be playing a very quick-paced game tonight and just kind of hustling around the floor and doing what they can to score quickly.
A little bit too quick there as the loose ball ends up as a turnover. Perrin Stevens couldn't quite reel it in with his right hand. Only 30 seconds into this first quarter. And Abbott works the perimeter there with Parrish. Three-point shot is good from Isaiah Main, opening up the gates from outside the arc. Stevens inside to Brokob. Back out, three-point ball won't go for Smith, and it's brought back by Burke. The putback, Stevens can't get it to go either.
And that's what we were talking about, is the boys were getting opportunities there. They just need to make sure that they can finish on those and get the ball in the hoop and just really score whenever they have those chances.
Driving underneath, they kick out. Here's another three ball, this time from Parrish, and it won't go with a foul called underneath. After the rebound, it was Braden Wade with the attempt.
At the line for two from Baxter, number 22, Braden Wade.
Wade's first from the charity stripe, and he will knock it down. Something that's a little more emphasized on the boys' side than the girls are the value of free throws. I think with the big gap in the girls' game prior, free throws weren't as much of a factor, but for this boys' team, it's going to be wanting to take every opportunity you get from the stripe.
Yep, and so far in this game, I mean, Baxter's kind of just getting quick opportunities and they're executing on them, and so another offensive possession for them here. And so if you're the boy Trojans, you do not want to let them get an early 10-0 start.
And Parrish lets that one fly. That was off the glass. It looked like that was just a loose ball that almost ended up in a fortunate spot for the Lions. Here's a long three. Brokob can't connect, and it's brought back down by Abbott. Abbott had the first bucket of the game, and now looking to transition underneath. It's blocked. Stevens on the play and out of bounds on the Lions.
That was a great block by Perrin. Perrin's maybe not the tallest person on the court at all times, but that was a great job of getting up and being physical.
Couple substitutions hit the court for the Trojans, with Smith, Burke, and Brokob all stepping off. Coming on, Buckingham gets the ball, transitions it to the new face, Newton, as well as Schultz. Three-point ball from Newton won't go. And still an 8-0 result here on the scoreboard. 5:14 remaining in the first.
Yep, and with that substitution that you had mentioned, something interesting that Coach Westcott has been doing is that he subs in these two together all the time, and it's that freshman Briggs Buckingham and the senior Adrian Newton. And so you really got the oldest player on the team and the youngest player on the team that gets great minutes, and so it's just interesting to see their dynamic, because you also have the shortest player on the team and the tallest player on the team with those two. So it's just...
And here's a foul called on Abbott. He disagrees, but I think that's a bit of a control foul there as he came flying across. Taking it down the floor is Buckingham, as he'll slide it over to Cullen. Down underneath, Stevens gets the first bucket, breaking the drought for the Trojans. That's an important basket, I think, for the Trojans. Just being a little icy there on the first couple possessions and then finally breaking the mold.
Definitely, and once this Boyd Trojans team gets going and scoring, sometimes they just can't stop, and so it's just that first point that you have to get.
Nice bucket pull up from Caleb Grant. Puts Baxter Springs into the double digits, and Buckingham retaliates. A great response from this Trojans offense. Abbott trying to carve his way down the left side. Passes it across the key. This will be rebounded, and a third chance won't fall. Newton with the rebound and kicks it over to Buckingham using his speed. Underneath, Cullen at the base, gets the bucket. Back within one score here for the Trojans. Baxter Springs had 3 or 4 chances to put points on the board on their last possession. Ended up flat, and now Cullen on the floor. He'll draw a foul. And that one goes against Grant, I believe. And that it will.
Looks like Jackson Smith will come in for Adrian Newton here, and if you're Coach Westcott, I think this is a great substitution with just Jackson being a great scorer, and he's really the facilitator of this offense.
Newton had some important rebounds. And now looking for that scoring into the spectrum, and Buckingham lights it up. As somebody who has not been watching the Girard Trojans for the first third of the season, I'm starting to understand why Buckingham comes in early.
Yep, you'll be amazed pretty quickly with him being just a freshman and his height and just how well he can shoot the ball.
A response there from Maine. He hits a little celebration. Buckingham in the corner, kicks out to Cullen, and now they'll work the perimeter with Smith. Another three ball. Buckingham is on fire. 3 for 3 from outside the arc for the freshman. Underneath with Abbott. Kick out, it's stolen by Cullen. Trying to push his way through 2 defenders and can't get the layup. 2:02 remaining in the first. Transition down the floor. Tie ball game. As Abbott will establish the offense from the top of the key. Trying to work his way underneath, and it's blocked by Stevens, not without a whistle.
Fouls on Girard, number 1. Aaron Stevens, second personal foul, team foul number 2.
That's Stevens' second personal here in the first quarter. And we've got, I believe, 2 players waiting to check in here for Girard as Abbott. No dribbles. Wow. That is odd. Very odd. Not a single dribble on that boot up for the free throw. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Just kind of gets it and shoots it. But 2 players that checked in are Harrison Burke and Blake Brokoff. A couple of those starters coming back into the game, and Perrin and Breyer will sit.
Took a dribble that time and misses.
Maybe it's the dribble.
Maybe. Brokoff over. Smith, 3. Yes! Taking the lead for the first time tonight. The Trojans up 16-14, and the Lions want a timeout. 1:26 remains in the first. We'll take a break with them, and we'll be right back after this short word from our sponsors.
Community National Bank and Trust has been serving the area for more than 30 years with a strong commitment to the highest quality leadership and banking services. Missing that human touch with your bank? Come talk to a real person at Community National Bank and Trust. We're your local bank that's small enough to know you, yet big enough to offer the best products. Community National Bank and Trust. Federally insured, locally awesome. Member FDIC.
Back on Girard Sports Live for the winter break kickoff. Girls team dominated by nearly 40 points tonight over the Baxter Springs Lions. Now the boys team just took their first lead so far in this contest, 16-14 in the prior possession. Here's Maine on the far wing, and he will draw a foul. I believe this one's going against Smith. And it will.
On the offensive side of things for Girard, it's kind of what I had talked about earlier of just if you let them get going, they're going to get going, and they're going to start scoring quick. And so that's just how this boys team, they were almost down by 10 at one point. They just were able to crawl back, and now they have the lead.
Had an 8-0 run to open up the game for the Lions before the first score of the Trojans, and then it was lightning there.
Definitely, and I think the thing that caused that run was Briggs Buckingham coming into the game and just shooting the 3 ball.
He's got 9 points so far on this contest, all from outside the arc, 3 for 3 from that spot. Maine shot blocked and received. Buckingham transition and a great ball movement layup for Jackson Smith. The assist from Buckingham and the transition from Burke to start it out of bounds, and these Lions are rattled. Smith will take it down the floor with 20 seconds and counting remaining in this first quarter as it has flown by. Brocob, kick out, Buckingham over, Brocob finds Burke. Burke will be the last shot here, and it goes. 20-14 will be the score headed into the second quarter. We will be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned, we're just getting started.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You've heard go big or go home. At Big Iron Auctions, you can go big from home. With thousands of pieces of equipment, active auctions, bidding at your convenience, and an easy-to-use site, BigIronAuctions.com can help you grow big. Call Tyler Jackman at 620-404-8115 to see how Big Iron Auctions can help grow your operation. Bid now, list now at BigIronAuctions.com.
Welcome to Homestead.
And we're back on Girard Sports Live. Fresh 8 minutes on the clock. Second quarter ready to get underway as the score stands 20-14 after a quick flip of the table here for Girard.
Yep, and honestly in that first quarter there were not that many fouls, and so it was just straight basketball, it seemed like, throughout the entire thing.
And when there were, it was quick transitions up and down the floor. That first quarter just really flew by. Seemed like it was 8 minutes a game and 8 minutes in real time. Here's the handoff, drive underneath. Shot will not go from Braden Wade, who has had a couple opportunities from underneath, just unable to capitalize. Swing it around the perimeter for the Trojans. Stevens works his way underneath. and can't get the buckets. Whistle blown on the rebound. And
foul on Newton.
That's what I was thinking, but it didn't. That is what the call is, but he wasn't pointing at him, so I didn't know. I didn't know if that was a foul on the Lions or not.
I was honestly thinking it might have been a jump ball, but
a lot of physicality on the underneath. Some tall players all fighting for possession, and Stevens fights for it there and wins. Gets the steal. A wonky play there from the Trojans. Ends up in 2 points.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. I don't know what that was, but
Schultz gets the ball poked out, and it just so happens to end up in the hands of Burke. He drops in the 2. Here's a 3 ball from the Lions as they try to get themselves going again. Riley Daniel opening up the scoring for them in the second quarter. Schultz, 2 won't go. And it's back the other direction as Abbott draws a foul.
I think Breyer will pick that one up, and he was kind of just walking down the court, didn't see him, and just ran into him. But with that foul, looks like a triple substitution, and Colin, Buckingham, and Brokaw will all come in. Looks like Smith, Newton, and Breyer all sit.
So Buckingham now packaging up with Brokaw instead, or Colin, whichever one you want to put him with.
That's interesting. I don't think we've seen this year with Briggs being on the floor without Adrian. So
here's a 3 shot, a little bit short there for the Lions. Caleb Grant on the perimeter. Buckingham takes a 3 and just off the back iron. They'll say it was tipped, so no over and back there. Buckingham tries to reel in the pass and just a little too high. So his first miss of the night comes from a mildly contested 3 from the top of the key. And a blanked possession there from Girard as well. Almost gets a steal. Pokes the ball loose for a moment. Now over to Isaiah Main. And that pass errant and out of bounds.
Yep, and I think whenever you're watching Briggs play defense, you're going to see a lot of similarities. If you're looking at the girls team with Carson Oran, that he's always going to be in there poking the ball away, trying to get that steal, just kind of being a pest on the ball and just doing whatever he can to get that steal.
One of the things that I always think about is what an importance height is in basketball, and Buckingham just really kind of using that his height to his advantage in a lot of situations. You know, being closer, a little bit closer to the waistline, trying to poke that ball out with some speed and agility, and then also just being able to maneuver his way through the key and in and out of defenses. It's hard to keep up with him.
Yep, and honestly, you wouldn't think that his height would be an advantage in a sport like basketball, but he's really found a way to exploit different offenses and just show his version of defense, even though he may not be the tall enough to get a block or anything like that, but he's really great at getting those steals and being a perimeter defender.
Rebound, Burke, as it goes the other way for Girard. 5-point lead, 4:30 remaining here in the second, as Buckingham gets fouled on his way underneath. Trying to carve down that baseline. Abbott caught with the reach. As Newton checks in now for Harrison Burke. Get it into Stevens, now Buckingham. Back to Stevens. Colin at the top of the key will draw up the offense.
Plenty of time left on the shot clock.
20 seconds. Inside of 4 minutes now as Buckingham takes another 3. This time rattles around on the rim before bouncing out. Now the Lions looking to bring it within one possession. Buckingham nearly gets the steal himself, and Newton forces the jump ball, which will head back to the Trojans.
That is just like what we were talking about, of just Briggs always playing that scrappy defense and getting those steals that just result in turnovers one way or another.
Stevens down the floor, taking the points. As they move it, Buckingham, long three, almost. Will not go, and it's rebounded by the Lions. Wade. Now it'll be Grant to set up the offense. 3:18 remaining. Here's a three ball, just a little deep from Daniel.
That was a great rebound by Ben Colin, and that's something that I've always, I go to school with these guys, and so I've messed with Ben about how he's the best role player I've ever seen, because he's not one to always be a scorer, but Ben's great at getting assists and rebounds.
Here's a three ball from Stevens. He thought it was in, just a bit short. Newton put back, Brocobb put back. That one goes. And Girard wants a timeout. Head coach Westcott wants to take a small break here, and we'll take one with him on Girard Sports Live, presented by Crochan. We'll be right back after this short break.
A partner in your fields and in your success. That's what you get with Murphy Seed. Channel seedsman Matt Murphy knows your field and can recommend the elite seed products designed to perform in your area, maximizing the profitability of every acre. And now Matt's care for farmers goes beyond seed as an agent for the new 4-state Farm and Ranch. From the best inputs available to the protection you need, call Murphy Seed at 620-249-6419. Your partner at every stage. Matt Murphy at Murphy Seed.
Back on Girard Sports Live. The timeout sponsor is brought to you by the Southeast Kansas Player Health Alliance and Live Well Crawford County, reminding you to know your limits when gambling and know when the game is playing you. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-426-2537 for free assistance. Isaiah Main, too high of a bounce off the rim. And Girard takes over. 2:28 remaining in the second quarter. A 7-point lead for the Trojans. 3 possessions, however you look at it. Kick out, Brocobb for threes. Tried a couple, and this time connects. 27-17. As this Trojan offense is really coming alive here in the second. Loose ball, Cullen almost gets the takeaway. Main out to Parrish. Parrish shots will not go, and Cullen will be accredited with the foul. Just nearly a clean block there from Ben Cullen, but I think some sound cues are the difference maker there on the floor.
Yeah, and I think Ben thought that was a clean block, but I almost think that we could hear the slap of the wrist from up here, so.
I always said, with basketball, it's so different looking at it from the stands than on the court, because there's things you hear and see all from different perspectives, and it's just a completely different called game than if the referees were just sitting in the stands.
Yep.
18-27, and we've got a control foul called against Brocobb. Went in just a little too aggressive. And those are the ones you wish you had back. Being on offense, feeling yourself underneath, and then all of a sudden, just a little too reckless. It'll cost you. Abbott down the floor. Guarded closely by Buckingham, and another foul comes in. This is an and one, as Isaiah Main
Looks like refs will talk it over a little bit, but that is the 5th foul on Girard, sending Baxter to the bonus with about a minute 30 left in this first half. But that might be something to look out for and something that might help these Lions crawl back from the 10-point deficit they were at, and now they're only down by 7.
Brokaw accredited with the foul. And now the lead knocked down to 6 here on back-to-back fouls. Buckingham on the close wing. Bounce pass over. And a shot from Brokaw. This one's short, and he knew it. Ends up in the hands of the Lions as they move down the floor. Pass high to Isaiah Main, and now Abbott for 3. Off the backboard, won't go. Rebound is back in his hands as he will try to knife his way down the base. And we've got a blocking foul, which is bonus, and will send him to the line. I didn't know if I saw much going on there.
I didn't see much. It's like that's Briggs' first foul on the night.
51 seconds remaining in the second quarter. If you're Girard, you'd like to keep a pretty substantial lead going into halftime. So you just don't know what some teams are cooking up in that halftime speech.
Yep. But looks like Harrison Burke will come to the game and Brokaw will sit.
That one rims out. Parrish gets the rebound. Loose ball ends up in the hands of Abbott. They'll move it around the arc.
It's like on the other side of things, multiple Baxter players were calling for the ball there.
Yeah, there was a lot of openings there for Baxter to take a top of the key 3. I feel like he probably could have created some sort of space underneath. But here's Cullen trying to go up and gets it to go. Back up to a 7-point lead. That's a huge basket for morale for this offense. Couple possessions in a row where everything felt like it wasn't going your way. And now another turnover. 10.3 seconds.
That looked like something you would see in the NBA, like a game of the Knicks and Bulls playing each other, of just throwing the ball at each other out of bounds. But Briggs did a great job of making sure that he didn't touch the ball and causing that turnover in the first place with that steal, and then just, I don't even know what to say about that. Just great play.
Well, I thought surely, I think it was Wade who attempted to throw it off of Buckingham. But I thought surely he was already out of bounds, and here's a buzzer beater again. This time from Schultz, and he brings it up to a 9-point lead for the Trojans as we head into halftime. The score, 22-31. Girard leads. We'll take a small break, and we'll be right back with halftime analysis and stats. Stay tuned.
Thanks to your support, Canara Eye Care has expanded. With double the space, they offer more exam rooms, larger optical selection, and extended hours to fit your schedule. And with the latest technology, they can quickly diagnose any eye-related issues. All patients are welcome at Canara Eye Care, the clear choice for your
A partner in your fields and in your success. That's what you get with Murphy Seed. Channel seedsman Matt Murphy knows your field and can recommend the elite seed products designed to perform in your area, maximizing the profitability of every acre. And now Matt's care for farmers goes beyond seed as an agent for the new 4-state Farm and Ranch. From the best inputs available to the protection you need, call Murphy Seed at 620-249-6419. Your partner at every stage. Matt Murphy at Murphy Seed. From the phone call to the service call, Roto-Rooter is there with fast and reliable sewer and drain service. From repair and replacement to septic and grease trap pumping, Roto-Rooter is here for you. With video inspections, Roto-Rooter can identify the exact issue to get the repair done quickly and correctly. Complete sewer line repairs or replacements, Roto-Rooter has you covered. Serving Crawford, Bourbon, and Cherokee counties, Roto-Rooter, 620-231-5630.
At Girard Medical Center, our physical and occupational therapy department is dedicated to helping you bounce back stronger. Whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, or just want to move better every day. From student athletes to seniors, we provide personalized care and expert support right here at home. To learn more about our therapy department and our other services, visit GirardMedicalCenter.com, a proud supporter of the Girard Trojans and your hometown team for health and healing. Rooted in rural, focused on you.
Siebert back to pass. Lehman diving for the end zone, and they get the listing. Lehman passes off to Siebert on the far wing. Siebert the lob, and Lehman with the alley-oop dunk to close the deal. Lehman a hard hit ball to left field. Siebert is at the wall, and they close another one. Lehman Realty with another big-time win. Lehman Realty, proud to support the Girard Trojans.
Our whole vision of becoming the four-state agency was because we want to be able to grow with our clients, whether they have a lake house in Oklahoma, whether they're starting a business and expanding into Arkansas. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, whether it's home, auto, financial services, or even life insurance. We want to walk through the stages of life with our clients. That's the biggest part. That's what makes us different.
Welcome back to the halftime show here on Girard Sports Live. Halftime sponsor is brought to you by GN Bank, where they've been providing customers with the highest quality financial services in a friendly and personal way for over 100 years. Personal, business, or agricultural needs, turn to GN Bank. Learn more at gn-bank.com. And as we look across this last half, the Eye on the Game is brought to you by Girard Eye Care. Girard Eye Care is here to make sure you can see what you're looking at. Girard Eye Care, with locations in Pittsburgh and Girard, is here to help their valued customers. Learn more at GirardEyeCare.com. I think I messed that up in the girls' game too.
That's all right.
I'm just having some trouble today. But looking back on that first half, 31-22, it was a slow start for Girard. But they quickly kicked it into gear about two or 3 minutes into that first quarter, and they've been leading pretty much since about 3 minutes remaining in the first.
Yep, and so I think that's the big thing for the boys tonight is just they had a slow start and they were able to pick it up and actually get going, and that's whenever everything just exploded. And I think the thing that they need to make sure that they keep doing is just shooting the ball. And the only thing that I think they really need to make sure that they can get is probably just some better looks and making sure that they're actually getting the ball to go in the basket. And that's just the big thing of they're getting opportunities. They just need to make sure that they're actually capitalizing on those opportunities. And I think in this first half, something that really stood out was Briggs Buckingham and his shooting, along with Jackson Smith and his ability to create plays and get a lot of playmaking abilities, because right now I have Jackson Smith he has about 5 assists, and Briggs Buckingham leads the team in scoring with 9 points. And so that's the big thing for this team, is just making sure that those two keep getting the ball and keep running their version of this offense.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of different functions in that offensive style, at least from the beginning of the game to the end of that second quarter, in the fashion that it seems fast-paced at times and then slowed at times, where it's more methodical, and then sometimes it seems like you're just moving the ball as quickly as you can until finally there's an open look, whereas when I was talking about that slow, methodical, it's more of like a design to try and get a certain body open or a certain look open underneath or a certain space on the floor open. And so that mix-up, and I don't know if that's intentional, but that mix-up creates a lot of, I guess, kind of disgruntledness in that defense of the Lions, because they're having a hard time keeping up with the different styles, and we've only seen like 7 different players on the floor from the Lions, so it's all the same faces, and they're trying to adapt to the differences and the changes in the Girard offense with the different faces that come on the floor for them.
Yep, and I agree with you. Even with this Girard team, like you said, that there's only really 7 people that you see on the court normally for Baxter. That's kind of how this Girard team is you have your 5 starters, and then some of those people that you see also of Briar Schultz, Adrian Newton, and Briggs Buckingham that also can come into the game, and those are really 2 of the – Briar's been great at rebounding, and so has Adrian, and that's one of the things that I think this team will need to make sure that they can do in the second half. And then Briggs obviously is the leading scorer, and he's really been the one to start this offense, and I think it was his three-ball shooting ability that's what really kicked off and got this offense going.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Buckingham's three-ball was kind of the kickstarter there in the first quarter, and he was lights out. Since then, he's been 0 for 3 from 3 so he's 3 for 6 currently, which isn't exactly the ratio that I think he would want, seeing that he was 100% through the first 3. But regardless, he's slowed down a little bit, but I would like to see him still carry that confidence coming out in the second half. I think that's really important for a player like him, especially with being a freshman. There can kind of be some confidence issues there just in general, but he seems to carry himself really, really well, and I would not be surprised if we come out of half, even if he doesn't start, as soon as we see his face on the floor, if he just opens up a 3 and knocks it down to kickstart the scoring once again.
And I completely agree with you. I mean, Briggs doesn't play like he's a freshman. He has just so much confidence in his shooting, and that's something that you like to see from Coach Westcott also, that he's just letting Briggs shoot the ball and really get those opportunities, and that's what's really helped this offense. And I think once Briggs started shooting, that's whenever it almost stunned the other team, that whenever they were up by almost 10 at one point, you go into the half, or before the half, you go into the second quarter, and now you're down by 2 against this Girard team, and that kind of, it seemed like it stunned this Lions team that just, they weren't ready for it, and that's kind of helped your team stopping them from scoring, and it also helped you get your score up, and that's what has really grown this Girard lead to the point where it's at now, being able to lead by 9 at the half.
Well, those halftime stats were brought to you by B&B Excavating. The numbers don't lie, dirt is heavy, so trust the guys at B&B Excavating to move what needs moving. Specializing in septic systems, water line install and repair, driveways, rock hauling, and leveling. B&B Excavating, call 620-724-2735. That's B&B Excavating, the halftime stats sponsor. And we will go ahead and take our final break of halftime. We'll be right back before the second half of action, so don't go anywhere.
At Girard Medical Center, our physical and occupational therapy department is dedicated to helping you bounce back stronger. Whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, or just want to move better every day. From student athletes to seniors, we provide personalized care and expert support right here at home. To learn more about our therapy department and our other services, visit GirardMedicalCenter.com, a proud supporter of the Girard Trojans and your hometown team for health and healing. Rooted in rural, focused on you.
We also didn't do player of the game.
Back out of halftime for the second half of action. Stay tuned for the post game. So we will have the player of the game for both the girls and the boys games. So we'll have that ready for you guys in the post game breakdown. But for now, 22-31, 9-point lead here for Girard. That is Buckingham pretty much carrying the lead for Girard right now. Shot will be rebounded by the Lions and out of bounds on Girard. That was very odd.
I had thought Harrison got it there.
Possession.
The ref on the baseline even looked a little confused.
Maine gets it in. This is Grant drawing up the offense. Looks like a 3-2 here, or 2-3 for Girard. And a takeaway. Down the floor and a wide open layup there for Harrison Burke to open up the scoring. Up by 11 now.
But like you said, I'm curious to see whenever that pair of Newton and Buckingham will actually come into the game and see what impact that'll bring.
Air ball there from Grant for Baxter Springs. Turns it back over to the Trojans. Down underneath, it's Burke again, and he's fouled.
All right. Harrison was calling for it for about 5 seconds just under the basket alone.
Yeah, he had moved in from that corner, so he wasn't in the lane, which is smart.
Yeah.
He was aware of that, standing at the block and just waiting.
He was just waiting for the ball.
See what the call here is. That's a timeout by the Lions, 6:40 remaining. So we'll take a break with them. We'll be right back after this quick word from our sponsors.
Welcome to Homestead of Girard, assisted and independent living right here in our hometown. At Homestead, seniors enjoy compassionate care in a community designed for comfort. Licensed professionals provide support with daily activities, dressing, bathing, and medication management. Residents enjoy home-cooked meals and the comfort of their own private apartment. Call 620-724-6760 to schedule your tour today. Homestead of Girard, senior living with compassion, comfort, and community.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest.
Back on, 11-point lead here for the Trojans. 33-22 as Burke looks to extend on that. And that one's just a bit off on the first shot. .640 remaining in the third quarter of action. Burke nails his second. Brings it 34-22. An even dozen is the difference. Move it over to Grant. Wanted to pull up from three, but elects against it.
I think a big difference from the first quarter to the rest of the game here for this Baxter team is just how hesitant they are to shoot the ball. It seems like in the first quarter anyone was willing to shoot the three, and now it's just they seem to be passing it to the next guy and not really wanting to take it themselves.
Well, as much as Abbott may not have been that top scorer that Baxter Springs needed, he certainly was a great facilitator and kind of just moved the ball a lot quicker. And now we're just seeing a bit of hesitation in the steps of Baxter Springs, like you were saying, and it's been costly. Stevens knocks down another two, brings the lead to 14 with 6 minutes remaining in the third. But they haven't even gotten a shot off in a minute. As I say that, this one toilet bowls out, and it'll stick with the Lions on their side of the floor.
It's not something you see every day. I see there's a little kid running across the court, and he's got a Scott Moore jersey on from Delaware. Scott played basketball last year for the Trojans.
And there's a three ball from Isaiah Main. Trying to bring it back to single digits, but still 2 points away. 11 points is the difference. Euro stepping underneath. Smith, they'll say it was out of bounds on him. He's in disbelief.
Yeah, I'm with him on that one. That doesn't seem very... But it's like Coach Westcott had a triple substitution, and let's see, Briar Smith, Adrian Newton, and Briggs Buckingham will check in, and
there they are, the dynamic duo.
Yep, looks like Burke, Brokob, and Smith will all sit.
Main at the top. Works it to the close wing with Parrish. And now here's a shot from Daniel and a whistle blown. What's the call?
Calling it on Briar?
Yeah, against Schultz.
I think they're saying he pushed him.
So that'll be Schultz's second foul. As Main gets it into Daniel. And almost a takeaway for Buckingham. still operating on that 2-3 defense. The up top players working a little more aggressive, and a great touch by Cullen ends the ball in the hands of Newton. So now Girard with a bit of a bonus possession, and Newton gets the buckets. Had the assisted steal with Cullen and makes his way coast to coast. Finds himself putting the ball in the buckets. And a great response there from the Lions.
In this third quarter, it just kind of seems like these two teams are going back and forth. The lead has stayed at about 11 throughout this entire third quarter.
I think for the Trojans, the reason for that is they're not playing super aggressive. They're trying to sit back, take the shots that they know they can make, as well as not trying to draw a bunch of excessive fouls. And so it's given a lot of opportunity for this Baxter Springs team, as we'll keep it here through this timeout. But for the Girard team, they've been able to capitalize pretty much on their offensive possessions just because of their caliber of offense.
And that's the big thing, is that even though they're not growing the lead, they're maintaining it, and that's, as long as you do that for another 11, almost 12 minutes, you'll be set. And so that's the big thing for this Trojan team, of just staying with it.
Yeah, the problem with it is how long will this hold up, because it looks like they're checking Abbott back into the game, who, like I said, may not have been the top scorer, but is certainly a great facilitator for that offense and speeds up the tempo to try and match that of the Girard tempo on offense. So we'll see if that changes anything substantial, but this could just end up being the way that the rest of this game unfolds, and just kind of a back and forth tennis match here. Just waiting for somebody to open it up with a three and try and get this crowd going.
Yep, and out of the break, it looks like Brokob checks in, and I'm honestly not too sure who. I think he replaced Breyer.
Looks like it. Schultz on the bench now. Newton underneath, gets the bucket. Great ball movement, finding the underneath. And Girard maintains their tempo. Maine pulls up mid-range jumper. It will travel across the rim, and now here's a three ball from Newton, or no, not Newton, Abbott. That won't go. Buckingham underneath, Cullen looking for space, and now here's Brokob with the two, breaking the back and forth, now up by 15. Student section getting involved here.
I know this is your first broadcast, but that ESPN table has been our rivals for the past 4 games now. Interesting to see them once again. But that's something me and Daryl used to always mention.
Abbott moving the ball down the floor. And now a takeaway. Stevens, fast break points as he is mauled on the way to the basket. Got a player laying down from the Lions. No stoppage in play as Cullen gets the rebound, and Maine is back there ready for defense, but it won't do anything.
Second time for Perrin. Ends up working out that time.
3 ball won't go, rebound Maine. And we've got a foul called underneath this time. I think a lot of times kind of time traveling back to that physicality down there on the Trojans side. I think sometimes the whistle goes silent when it seems like equal physicality on both ends.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if you can't distinguish who fouled, you don't call the foul, which I can kind of respect in a way. But at the same time, when an injury pops up on something like that, it starts to get a bit concerning.
Yep, and for the Trojans, I mean, they're always a physical team, so it doesn't ever seem like it goes in the favor of this boys' team.
Back up to the top of the key. Grant's trying to work it underneath. Here's Daniel for three. Won't go. Rebound, Smith. Now taking it down the floor will be Schultz. Smith carving his way underneath. Schultz with the attempted board, and it's headed the other direction. And a sigh of disagreement from the arena. So I think they were looking for a foul there too.
I agree with the fans on this one. That was a lot of contact, and even Jackson on that one seemed a little upset just from there being nothing.
Minutes remaining in this third quarter. 17-point lead for Girard. Mid-range two. Gets only glass there for Caleb Grant. And now Girard will work the perimeter. 20 seconds separate the shot clock and the game clock.
Good passing here by Girard trying to find that open shot.
Schultz draws up the offense, shot clock at 10. Here's Schultz for three, just short. Rebound Parrish.
It's like one last possession here, about 20 seconds left in the third quarter.
Grant's gonna try to milk as much of this as he can as they will work the perimeter here. Grant knives down the left side and is fouled on his way to the bucket. 4.6 seconds remaining, and he'll be shooting two. Burke accredited with the foul. Grant's first is good to go. 46-30. And make it 31. Burke, floater three, just off the front of the rim to end the third. 31-46 is the score. We'll be right back after this short break for the fourth quarter of action. Don't go anywhere. This game's not over.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Chicken Annie's Girard. When you're facing a chicken emergency, there's only one hero. Catering and carry out from Chicken Annie's Girard. When an onion ring craving is too much to bear, when the family's coming over and you weren't aware, it's Chicken Annie's Girard to the rescue. When there's 20, 30, 100 to feed, you need Chicken Annie's Girard indeed. A heroic value, superb flavor. When there's a chicken emergency, there's only one hero. Chicken Annie's Girard.
8 minutes remain in this heated battle between the two boys teams of the Lions and the Trojans. Who will come out on top? The Trojans lead by 15 currently, so it's a long road here for the Lions, who average just over 10 points a quarter.
Yep, and it looks like to start this fourth quarter, Coach Westcott is going to go with all of his starters.
I like this move. Try to stall out a couple of minutes with your starters and then eventually might be able to move into some of the second stringers, if you want to consider them second stringers at that extent, Buckingham, Newton, and company.
I agree with you. I think that 8 of these guys could be starters on this team, which I think Coach Westcott agrees with that just from he's had multiple different starting lineups throughout these past first couple of games.
Lions take a timeout with 7:30 remaining. We'll keep it here for the time being after the quarter break. But closing out this game, Girard obviously up by 15. You have a team that, when you look at statistically, is averaging about 10 points. Now, generally speaking, that's not far off from 15. I mean, that's only a 2-possession difference from being able to score 15. So I would say you can't go silent here in the fourth.
Definitely, yep.
And I've seen, I mean, in my days of watching high school basketball, I've seen teams go silent in the third or towards the back half of the third and in the fourth quarter and just completely give up any lead that they had and just give up the game at that point. I think it's very easy for some of these high school boys to feel like, okay, you know, we've got a comfortable lead. There's probably no way they come back. And certainly it's going to be a stretch for the Lions, but a couple turnovers later, and this game can be completely different.
Yep, and I agree with you that this boys team needs to make sure that they're staying consistent and still playing in the game and not just kind of waiting for that clock to run out and just hope for the best, but they need to make sure that they win this game and not just give up now.
They've outscored them in 3 quarters. You'd probably like to do so here in the fourth as well. Cullen down the floor for Girard. Still waiting for somebody to strike first, and Smith gets called for a travel there at the elbow. Not even a minute gone yet.
I think if you're the Baxter Lions here, you need to make sure that you can really take full advantage of this opportunity of Girard having a couple turnovers and just making sure that you're actually scoring the ball to see if this game could end up being competitive.
Main for 3, gets it to fall. Brings the lead down to 12 for Girard as Cullen finds himself underneath, fighting through physicality, and that ball nearly made its way into the bucket. Would have been an and one and a nice response at that, or a chance for a nice response at that.
Definitely, and up until that foul, Ben was calling for it the entire time. He knew he had the size and strength advantage down low, and he wanted to use it and get that score.
Misses on his first, 6:40 on the clock when he makes his second. Brings it back up to 13. Move it back up top with Parrish. And now here's Main. Main, his pass is taken away. Stevens gets it. Back up to a 15-point lead for the Trojans. Abbott, cross-court pass. Main, 3-ball, no dice. And Smith works it down the floor with Brocob. Great pass and great receiving by Smith and Brocob. Or excuse me, I think that was Cullen, and now he's fouled underneath. Cullen short again on his first of 2 free throws. See if he makes the adjustment this time. Does not. Comes up a little less short. Pass up top. Isaiah Main trying for the three again and can't get it. Stevens works it underneath, and there's a great bucket from Burke.
Great passing. That was finding the open man and getting the easy bucket.
Not only have the Trojans been able to maintain their lead, they've extended on it, and a great play by Colin. Parrish and Colin fighting for the ball. Colin finds some verticality and throws it down off of the hands of Parrish.
Yep, and after that great turnover you have, we've been calling them a duo, but really it's a trio of Briar, Schultz, Buckingham, and Newton all coming into the game now. Looks like those same three of Ben Colin, Blake Brokob, and Harrison Burke are all set.
Stevens gets another two and brings this to 19. And we were talking about the trio. I love the way that all three of them match up as a joint package. You know, you have Buckingham, the speed and the sharp shooting ability. You have Schultz, who's kind of got that lankiness and a bit of a facilitator to himself, where he can just kind of move around defenders and work his way underneath if he wants. And then, of course, you have Newton, who's just a force to be reckoned with at the post.
I agree with you. Adrian brings the size that this team needs off the bench, and I really see Briar as just a wild card of,
yeah,
he can get rebounds, he can score, just what this team needs, Briar's able to do. And then Buckingham, like you said, is just the pure scorer and the quickness, and he may not have the greatest size, but I mean, he makes up for it with everything else about his game.
I think if you had to put Schultz in a position, it would be power forward. He just kind of matches that vibe where he can shoot from outside the arc if he wants to, but also has that strength and height to drive. And this one's another takeaway by Stevens. He gets hacked at in the process, and we've got a jump ball on the floor at midcourt.
Drake, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a little bit of the singing going on in the student section.
Sounds like the national anthem.
That's musically talented student section.
Very reminiscent of a viral video I saw of an entire crowd singing Silent Night at a basketball game.
That's cool.
If you haven't seen that, you need to look it up. Very interesting atmosphere to play in.
Yeah, that seems kind of distracting.
3:46 remains in the fourth. Parrish headed to the line for two, with Jackson Smith picking up his second foul. Parrish knocks down the first of this visit.
And looks like another triple substitution, and it'll be everyone else that wasn't subbed out plus Adrian Newton, and it looks like those three starters will come back into the game.
Newton, Stevens, and Smith all hit the bench. On the floor now, you have Burke, Schultz, Brokob, Cullen, and Buckingham for the Trojans. Not a ton of substitutions for that of this Lions team, as we have only seen one come off of the bench for them in this contest, with Abbott seated in that spot currently, and that has been Riley Daniel, number 24.
Yeah, and that's definitely something interesting to see, just because neither of these teams, I don't think, have anyone in foul trouble, and so it's just matching up their guys and Girard typically doesn't go deep into their bench, but Baxter apparently doesn't go any deeper, and so that's something that'll come into this is conditioning, especially in this fourth quarter. And personally, I'd like to say that this game is pretty close to over, but it's just conditioning definitely probably played a part in this of not having that many substitutions for the Baxter Lions.
Yeah, it's certainly a bit of a disadvantage when you only have one substitution. Right as we were saying it, it looks like they're going to check in a full 5. Takeaway here. Caleb Grant trying to fast break some points. Long 2, gets it to fall. 57-41 with 2:15 remaining.
Which, like you said earlier, this Trojans team has definitely done a great job of even growing the lead and not just maintaining it this quarter by almost double the amount they were leading this Baxter team. And so I think they're really doing a great job of making sure that this game ends in a win and making sure that they can close this one out.
Under 2 minutes now. Daniel for 3, won't go. Parrish put back 2. Falls. Only 14 points separates these two. It's interesting to see those 5 still waiting at the scores table. But I suppose with almost a minute remaining after this possession, it's probably going to be a tall order to ask 14 points. And a big block, but won't be ruled that. Too much bodily contact between Daniel and Schultz. Send Schultz to the line.
Which something to note about this Trojans team is there's not really any person on this team that I don't think I wouldn't send to the line, and they're honestly all great free throw shooters, and it's just part of how Coach Westcott has coached them up into becoming these shooters. And I know from hearing about it, Coach Westcott has a drill that he likes to do where if you don't make the free throw, you're running. And so I think that's definitely convinced these guys to get their free throw shooting percentages up.
Conditioning, one of the best punishments in the sports. Just a win-win. Cullen gets the rebound off the missed free throw. Smith tries to put back. A nice save there off the missed bucket. And this is a big takeaway. The new face for the Lions. And gets the bucket. Brule brings it to 45, only a 13-point deficit now. They find Smith underneath, and one. Jackson Smith gets the bucket.
Fouls the Lions, number 1, Ethan McCoy, first personal foul. Team foul number 3, entering the game for the Trojans, number 3, Sutton Gordon.
Looks like a big group substitution for the Trojans, and I gotta make sure and check. It looks like a majority of a freshman group with the one sophomore of, I should know his name, Sutton Gordon. But new faces into the game for the Trojans.
Camden Gilmore, Sutton Gordon, Newton back on the floor as well with Quentin Bruning and Brody Brunk.
It's definitely different commentating because some of these guys I have nicknames for, and just that's how you know them by, and so you can't call them their nickname.
This one's Shorts from the second stringers of the Lions. 15-point difference. No more shot clock, as this will be the final possession, more than likely. Newton dribbles it into the corner. And that's it. Final score, Girard Trojans 60, Baxter Springs Lions 45. And that will be it for the boys game. Go ahead and transition pretty much directly into the post-game show, which is brought to you by Eastside Cafe. The Girard Trojans get the win. Dine in only at the Eastside Cafe. Restrictions apply. Experience the best breakfast in town 6 days a week at 120 South Ozark Street in Girard. Eastside Cafe, a proud supporter of Trojan Athletics. So, Eastside Cafe, post-game sponsor. Caleb, we just watched a sweep over the Baxter Springs Lions. Moving on into the later parts of this schedule, how do you feel about these two teams?
I think, honestly, the boys have surprised a lot of people this year, which compared to last year, our boys team had an incredible postseason run, but honestly, to start the year, it started off pretty rough. And so that's what a lot of people have been surprised was they lost people, and it's a young team, but this young team has still been able to manage and keep going, and they've won every single game except for one, and that's been the big surprise. And so I think if they can continue to do that and continue to surprise people, is that they've been the underdog pretty much this entire year. And so if they're able to do that and get that edge, and then even just some of their players that surprise you, like Briggs Buckingham or Briar Schultz, Adrian Newton, some of those guys off the bench that could be starters that other teams see, and then you get surprised by thinking that these guys should be bench players, and they're all solid players, that it's something that you need to make sure that you do in the future of just getting that edge. And then the other thing is just how you play your game of playing that quick pace and getting rebounds and getting second chance opportunities. And I think if the Trojans are able to do that, I think they'll make another deep run into the playoffs this year.
We'll go ahead and run it into our players of the game tonight for both the girls and the boys game. Player of the game is brought to you by the Producers Co-op Association. Caleb, looking at the boys game, who do you deem was the most valuable?
It's difficult tonight just with looking at some of the points. Real quick, I'll just say everyone's points, and our leading scorer tonight, I do believe, is Perrin Stevens with 10. Briggs Buckingham then had 9, followed by Harrison Burke, who also had 9. Briar Schultz had 6. Jackson Smith had 7. Blake Brokup also had 7. Adrian Newton with 4. And that should be everyone. But with all of these players, I honestly think the player of the game should either go to Harrison Burke or it's difficult. You want to give it to 3 people. I'm thinking Harrison, Perrin, or Briggs Buckingham, with just how Briggs really was the one to get this game going. But then once he got this game going, Harrison was kind of sneaky all game of getting points, but he was, again, one of the top scorers. And Perrin was that same way where you didn't see him make these big plays, but over time his points added up, and he was the leading scorer of this team. So I don't know what you think, but I would give it to one of those 3.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I think just from a game standpoint, I feel like Buckingham definitely had an impact on the game, but you have Stevens out there and all those. I mean, the point spread was just so even. It's hard to give it to one guy, but I'd say we can probably deem all 3 of those worthy of that player of the game. And then I think looking at the girls' side tonight, I feel like Maddie Kester or Carson Orand is probably the recipient there, as Orand, had those defensive plays that really just kind of stopped the Lions offense from moving. And then Kester, of course, pushing through some injury there, kind of bringing the starters back to life on the scoring side. And talking to Coach Urlacher, that was something that he talked about needed some improvement throughout the rest of the season. So I think it was important to have Kester on the floor just for the varsity squad, because I think they just had a little more confidence on the offensive. And then, but Orand as well, a big-time scorer, and then as well as just being able to put up that defensive front.
I agree with you. Personally, I think for the girls' side of things, I'll give the player of the game just to Carson Orand because of that defensive effort. It seemed like every time she was near the ball, there was a good chance that it was going to get poked away or stolen. And so personally tonight I would give it to Carson Orand just because I think we gave it to Maddie last game.
Well, I would say she's certainly deserving of that recipient. And the players of the game, like I said, brought to you by the Producers Co-op Association. We'll go ahead and send it to a quick break, and we'll bring it back here after a few moments. I don't know if we do have a scheduled interview with the boys coach, but
he should be up here. Just takes a little bit of time.
We will see. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this short word from our sponsors.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Trojan fans can find us at 408B North Grand in Pittsburgh or call 620-232-7305. To find a location near you, go to Prime Accounting. Selling equipment can be a hassle. Whether you're needing to replace an old tractor or you're finally getting to retire, the time and energy needed to clean, prep, promote, and sell seems daunting. That's why you need Tyler Jackman and Big Iron Auctions. From one piece to the whole farm, Big Iron Auctions can deliver your items to more than 750,000 registered bidders. Call Tyler Jackman at 620-404-8115 or learn more at BigIronAuctions.com. From the phone call to the service call, Roto-Rooter is there with fast and reliable sewer and drain service. From repair and replacement to septic and grease trap pumping, Roto-Rooter is here for you. With video inspections, Roto-Rooter can identify the exact issue to get the repair done quickly and correctly. Complete sewer line repairs or replacements, Roto-Rooter has you covered. Serving Crawford, Bourbon, and Cherokee counties, Roto-Rooter, 620-231-5630.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Here at Pittsburgh Interiors, we are proud to be family owned and operated, serving our community with quality style and service since 1999. Step into our showroom and explore furniture, flooring, window treatments, mattresses, and more. Whether you're designing a dream home, office, or simply just adding that finishing touch, our expert team is here to help. Discover why families and businesses have trusted us for over 25 years. Pittsburgh Interiors, where style meets comfort and family comes first.
We are back on the post-game show with head coach Rod Westcott. Coach Westcott's taking down the victory by, I believe, nearly 20 points, or pretty close to that. I don't have the final score up with me. But looking at your team and the turnover margin that you guys had defensively, is that something that you guys emphasize in practice, or is that something that your team just picks up on with their aggression?
Well, it's one of those that, you know, if you can take advantage of it, you do. And we got some runouts, got us going a little bit there in the second half. Their quickness gave us fits in that first half, especially that first quarter. I didn't feel like we were very focused, didn't come to play. You know, we're down 8-0 there just right off the bat. And that's just a lack of being focused, down, ready, knowing what they're going to do to us. And their quickness gives us fits. Like I said, they got some good quickness there, and we had a hard time staying in front of them until we finally got up to game speed and were able to adjust a little bit. But, yeah, they do some good things. You know, we took advantage of some turnovers and got some runouts. We shot it well that first quarter. If we do well the first half, if we don't shoot it well, we're down at halftime. But we shot the ball pretty well. We forgot all about rebounding tonight. I don't know how many offensive boards they have, but it seemed like a ton. So you know what we'll be doing tomorrow.
Well, you talked about that first quarter and being down 8-0 quick, and then you have Briggs Buckingham come out and shoot 3 for 3 right off the bat from outside the arc to kind of kickstart the offense. How important was that to really just get things going? Once you guys started scoring, it seemed like a waterfall.
Yeah, he can light it up if you leave him open, and most teams know that, and they adjusted pretty well. He had a hard time getting looks there after he hit a couple there in a row, but good little player for us, doing some good things, and our guys are finding each other, and I think that's a big thing. We're sharing the ball pretty well. When we share the ball and get it moving, get it clicking, it's a lot of fun and getting everybody involved. So hopefully that'll continue. I felt like we finished decently tonight. We missed some that, you obviously want back, but that's going to happen every now and then. Our biggest thing is I didn't feel like we rebounded worth a darn. When we did give them the miss, they had second chance opportunities several times, and even get them up off the free throw line, and they run that little cross, and it give us fits. But some things that we got to work out, and, we'll get better. It's still early.
Yeah. And looking forward, you talk about rebounding being an emphasis or a point of emphasis going forward. When you're facing off against a team like Columbus later on this week, who maybe hasn't been performing to the level that they've been wanting to, is there a certain emphasis that you're putting on your team with that rebounding or in any other areas going into this matchup?
We try to worry about us all the time and not look too far ahead, but we'll get back and work on us tomorrow, and coaches will watch some game film on Columbus, and obviously we'll watch this one first, but wrap this one up tomorrow and try to get ready for Columbus on Thursday, and get back after it. I was telling the kids, guys, it's a marathon, and you just got to keep getting better each and every day, and if we do that, hopefully we're where we want to be here come March.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining us on the post-game show. We appreciate your company, and can't wait to call for you more here.
Sounds good,
Girard.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah. That was head coach Rod Westcott joining us on the post-game show, which will just about wrap up our broadcast here on Girard Sports Live. Caleb, any last thoughts?
I don't think I have any. Just great games from both teams tonight.
Well, that will do it from me, Caleb, and Sarah. Sorry, I forgot her name. Still new here. We're going to get used to it. But for me, Caleb, and Sarah, we say good night. And until next time, we'll see you on Girard Sports Live.
Thanks for watching. From the gridiron to the hardcourt, the pitch to the mat, don't miss any of the action. We're there with live, local sports coverage at VarsitySportsLive.com.